Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Meach'S Musings here on the JEFF MEACHAM Network, of course, NoDQ.com once again, the Greg Cherry brand once again, and for the very first time ever in my history doing these crazy things, I am on the Cleaver Colin Andrews channel, a good friend of ours here at the NoDQ family. So thank you, Colin, for allowing me to simulcast this very, very cool episode of my podcasting career here on your channel. It's been a long damn time since I did a wrestling interview like on video. I was doing the math in my head today. The last time I did one of these on video with a wrestler, be it a friend of mine or otherwise, was Rob Van Dam 6 years ago. Like, that just blows my mind that it's been that friggin' long. I can't even fathom that shit. By the way, Aaron, in advance, we're going to break your F-bomb rule. I'm sorry. It is what it is, my friend. Joining me in the green room and now coming on screen from his home in, I think he's still in Georgia. I'll confirm that when he gets on the air here, but a good friend of ours from many, many years ago. He was on the original No DQ show, Extreme Mayhem, back in 2003, and we pranked our good buddies at WrestleZone because they're assholes. Anyway, Marcus Buff Bagwell, how the hell are you, my friend?
Dude, what's going on, man? 17 years, bro.
Right? Like, I was thinking about that. It's like, okay, like, I don't go usually that long between gigs with, especially my friends.
No, exactly.
But it's so silly because I remember when I was going to call you after I found out about your car accident, which we're going to deep dive here. Don't worry about that, kids. I was telling him yesterday on the phone was during my false positive bullshit. So I literally am on a podcast talking to the world, and I get a notice saying he's been in a car wreck. I'm like, well, that just screwed my day even further because now my friend's hurt. So I meant to like get off the freaking podcast and call you, and then the false positive thing happened, and I just lost my shit. And it's like, okay, here we go.
How long they keep you locked down for that?
3 friggin' weeks, man. Oh my god.
Dang, man.
Because here's the thing, Mark. I went out to my sister's house to visit, just to, it's my family, and I knew there was a quarantine, so my mom said, if you go out there, you can't come back in here without a negative test. I said, okay, no problem. I don't have COVID. I'm good. Right. So I go to this little clinic. I don't remember the name now, but I chewed them out when I got home. So they probably lost business, which I'm perfectly fine with. And I did the rapid test because I wanted to know right then and there, can I go home in a couple days?
Sure.
So they stick that stupid thing up my nose, and this
right before the tears drop.
She was very unfriendly with her handling. And I almost, she said, whatever you do, do not kick me and do not grab me. I'm like, okay, you don't tell somebody that power suggestion's a bitch. So of course I kicked her right in the shin. And anyway, and I get a positive reading. I'm like, okay.
You're kidding.
So I have to go to my sister's house where her husband, their toddler daughter, her other daughter from a previous relationship, and that daughter's father are staying there, and another friend who was staying there, and her mother-in-law, and I have to go, we're stuck.
Yeah. So what do we do now? Monopoly or Candyland or what?
Right. It's break out the chutes and ladders, kids. So luckily we were able to get through Rite Aid, who is a credible source, a pretty quick turnaround, but it took freaking 2 weeks to actually get the test set up because it's just the freaking line is atrocious. So by the time we got the test in, it was 3 weeks. I missed my brother's August 3rd. I went up there mid-July, and I missed my brother's August 3rd birthday over this shit.
That's brutal, man.
So
that's brutal.
I swear to God, Buff, in front of God and everybody, I came into this room, sat in this chair, put the cans on, took the mask off, and went, clinic's name, clinic's number, clinic's address, give them shit.
Yes.
The first thing I said when I got home and on my camera was like, all right, you assholes. Boom, boom, boom.
Well, here's what confused me about the whole deal. Right. Was I was watching Good Morning America one morning, and they had a line around just one of those little Rite Aids, emergencies. I mean, whatever it was just one of those little places like a urgent care. Right. And it was in New York City. Yeah. And say, hey, Woodstock. Hey guys.
The tradition of MWO dogs on the air continues with the first Sean Waltman, now Buff Bagwell. There you go.
And the vision you had of the camera was, you see it's raining, of course.
Of course.
You see the people coming in the door, and then you don't know quite what it is at first, but on the other side of the building, you see umbrellas too. And you're going, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
That was the end of the line.
Yeah.
Dude, it was all the way around the whole block. Now listen now, that's just because they felt bad and was maybe had it or maybe didn't, and they were just going to get tested. And I don't understand that. If you don't feel bad, who in the fuck is going to wait in that line?
Like I said, man, fear is a powerful thing. It really is.
I'm telling you. Right beside the LA Fitness, they had to the cops had to come out and make a new lane for them because it was just a line every day of people going to get tested. And I thought, nobody in the world feels totally that many people feels that bad.
Love those Democrats.
those Democrats, baby.
Here we go. Okay. Steer away.
No.
So, all right. So let's see what we got here. So earlier, our friend Virtue said the best buff is New Orleans, Louisiana, Bourbon Street buff. 10 degrees. That was a pretty good segment. Not gonna lie. That was good shit.
It was.
So and then he said, I got a McRib today, and he wants to know our opinion on the McRib. I haven't had a McRib this year, so I don't know how they taste this year. We'll see.
Do you know what's always grossed me out? And I mean, a McRib, believe it or not, never taken a bite of one. And here's the only reason why. And this is honest to God's truth. And here's the only reason why. I hate onions. And it came with onions. Not that you couldn't say, hey, even when I get a double cheeseburger, I get a double cheeseburger, no onions.
Right.
Because I still want the pickles and stuff. But they get it right about 60% of the time, even when I do that.
Well, back then anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to understand pandemic. Drive-thrus are hell.
Oh, so I never had a chance to really try one without the onion. And for some reason, when I first saw it with the onion, it just kind of ruined me. But I love barbecue. I just ate barbecue chicken tonight. I got home from the gym. So I love barbecue, but I've literally, swear to God on my life, never even taken a bite of a McRib. But I had a lot of friends that loved them, man. They must be pretty good.
Well, Aaron, I think McRibs are back for Marc Bagwell because he's Marc Bagwell, so he gets it early. Like I said in the description, guys, if you want to ask Buff a question, either super chat Aaron or PayPal me, because I want to get into the conversation here, because I haven't had Buff on a show, like I said, in 17 years, and back then I had to compete for airtime with somebody else, and I'm not doing that this time. So when you and I saw each other just after my Kings had won the Stanley Cup in here in LA, and you were out at Frankenstein's out here in the City of Industry, and I remember you walking gingerly, and then I looked up the report today. I went, oh, that's why. Massive car wreck in 2012. This is the white car, and it looks like
I had a big Jeep, and if you saw it, I mean, you'd be like, "There's no way anybody survived that."
Well, it was a Jeep, and then it was a block, a paperweight. By the time it was all said and done, that thing it was bad, brother. I'm not gonna lie,
dude. It was horrible.
Yeah, and
they don't come with airbags on those things.
No, and like looking back of our interaction that day and how I was struggling with my foot surgery, and I'm like, oh, that's why. Got it. Okay. So and it's funny,
that was rough, man.
Yeah, and the person waiting in the chat room also met you that day. He had the notorious WWF WCW logo shirt on. I went, oh boy, that's a fun memory for Buff. And we'll get into that too, for sure. So then recovery, because you're Marc Bagwell and you recover, you're good to go.
Yes.
So like I said, I'm sitting at my sister's house doing one of my quarantine updates, and I get a memo in my box saying Marc Bagwell in a car wreck. I went, oh fuck. So I open up the thing and I see the pictures. You sent me better pictures today, which
yes,
I'm not aware of. God damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, okay, I need to call him like right now. And like I said, then I get the information about the clinic and I just completely not good friends. That was my bad for not calling you. So I'm sitting there yesterday talking to my sister just about random shit. I'm going through pictures. I'm like, Buff. I didn't call Buff. So I called Marc yesterday. We're talking 20 minutes or so. I'm like, dude, this is a lot better on the air to tell these stories. What are you doing tomorrow? I'm not doing a damn thing. What are you doing? I'm like, I got to.
As soon as we hung up, my girlfriend goes, do you know how cool it would have been for everybody just to hear what y'all just talked about?
Right. Because
we just, so it was just like, why not put it on the air, baby?
Yeah. People don't understand that, every once in a while, there's genuine people. Like in the world.
That, here's what I get more than all. Here's what I get more than anything is anytime you go check on like a past podcast,
right?
You will never hear any of my stories differentiate. And that's a simple reason because I'm telling the truth. And when you tell the truth about something, it's so easy not to mess it up. But people were like so amazed at that. Like when I would tell the shoot my dad story or whatever it may be, it was so unbelievable. But at the same time, it was exactly told the same exact way. And nobody could do that over and over and over 5, 6, 7, 8 years, getting podcasts. So, even when I went with the Gigolo show and all that, that actually came from the 2012 wreck.
Right.
My manager at the time wanted me to really get out of wrestling, go work for him. He was a multimillionaire that owned this company called Taylor and Associates. And I changed my number and was going to go work for him.
I remember that, you shithead. I'm like, why can't I get a hold of Bagwell? What the hell?
Yeah,
I know why.
I never changed my numbers. I changed my number.
Oh, damn you.
2 weeks later, he falls in his own house and dies of a brain hematoma.
Oh,
so now here I am going, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then 6 days later was my wreck.
God.
So people didn't know whether I was dead. Was I going to come back and wrestle? The phone wasn't ringing, in other words. So I called my manager and I said, bro, I said, we got to pull out all stops, no stops. It's why we got to pull out. We got to pull out the master plan. And that was the Gigolos. And believe it or not, dude, after the Gigolo show aired, it was the highest rated show they had.
Yep.
They signed me on for 6 more shows, and Showtime freaking canceled them.
Oh,
so there's 240 grand just was right here and then was gone. And but my phone started ringing, dude. And believe it or not, it only cost me 2 jobs where a school heard about it or something. And we can't have that.
Right.
But so it only hurt me like twice.
Right.
But it helped me tremendously get back out there again, and he's
Yes.
still out there. He's still doing it. And God, he was on the Gigolo show. That's pretty cool.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Yes.
So, okay. I did mandate in the description that you had to pay $5 to do a super chat to the question, but this is too good to pass up because our resident shitster is in the chat room and he says, Big Vito says hello.
Hey.
So,
Big Vito.
He's friends with Vito. Vito was on our shows not too long ago, and the Virtue here appears with Vito on Vince Russo's channel. So anyway,
okay, great.
Hello.
Big Vito's great. We always got along well. We always did.
Yeah, Vito and I did.
Matter of fact, he was in the finish room of one of my greatest stories ever. And he was in the finish room to eyewitness it, and whatever you want to get to that, we can. But it was tremendous. It was great.
Go for it.
I was at a stage in my career where Russo was fucking with me. I mean, just not really giving me the ball. He was using all of his guys, which his guys, you could tell when who was running the show. When he ran the show, it was the Jeff Jarrett's. And I love Jeff, but I'm saying it was just a different clique of guys. Right. And then when Vince was running, when Eric was running it, it was your Goldbergs, your Lugers, your Stings, your Bagwells, your good old WCW guys. Right. And when Vince was running it, it was really your WWF guys.
Yes.
And it was very obvious when they were running it, and separately you could tell. But so the day I got there, there'd been so much going on, and I was definitely upset because of the things that just had been going on. But my mom and me had went to lunch that day because she was on the show getting diamond cutted every week by Chris Canyon. Remember?
Oh God!
And that's when Dallas was hurt, and now so Canyon came up with this idea so everywhere he turned, he diamond cutted my mom, and so that led to the Judy Bagwell on the forklift match, which was our last pay-per-view ever.
Oh my God!
Go! Guess why?
Right?
David Arquette wins the belt. My mom's on a forklift. You figure it out. But anyway, I walk into the finish room with a cup of coffee, and Big Vito's an eyewitness to this. I walk in the finish room with a cup of coffee and just relaxed and calm as could be, no problems. We're a week out from the pay-per-view. This is the last week to really tell your story to get to the pay-per-view.
Yes.
And it's last Monday. And Johnny Ace is in the finish room, and Johnny says that Big Vito's going over. And I just went, okay. And they both snapped their heads around like, he just said, okay. So I said, how do you want to beat me, Big Vito? And he was kind of, well, I do this spinning. I said, to be honest with you, I'd rather not do that. I said, with my neck, I said, but can we come up with something else? And they're just both blown away that I'm playing along with losing.
Right.
And then I don't know how, I don't know what made it go into my brain, but it did. And I went, wait a second. I said, Vito, I said, are you on the pay-per-view? And he goes, no. And I saw Johnny Ace's head go. And I went, Johnny, he's not even on the show, and he's beating me a week out from the fucking pay-per-view.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And I totally lost it. I get up, head straight to find Russo.
Of course.
You can ask Big Vito, he'll tell you the truth. I go straight to Vince Russo, woke up on him. He's in the middle of an interview, and he stands up like ready to fight. I don't care. I'd knock him out if he wanted to.
Right.
But I said, he goes, what's up, Buff? I said, what the fuck is up is that you've got somebody beating me when you've made my match, whether it sucks or not. You've made one of my matches a feature match, which is Judy Bagwell in a forklift match.
Yeah.
I said, it's you guys that made it up, not me.
Right.
I said, but why are you going to beat me a week out? And they go, well, the fans just like to be surprised sometimes. I said, you want them surprised? I said, have Big Vito beat Goldberg.
Right.
I said, that'll fucking shock the hell out of them. I said, why not shock them? And he goes, well, sometimes they just want to see, they want to get tricked. And I said, and sometimes they want to see Bub do his little dance with his little top hat on.
Right. And
so then it started getting a little bit ugly. And the whole time Johnny Ace is following me going, Bub, I'm telling you, they're going to fire you. They're going to fire you. Don't do this. Don't do this. But I just couldn't hold it in. I mean, I went in that finish room willing to do anything. And when Big Vito said, I'm not even on the pay-per-view, I fucking lost it, dude. I completely lost it.
Fantastic. Oh my God.
It was just ridiculous. But it actually fixed it to where it was pretty cool. Canyon was the cameraman.
Right.
But they still could have I still could have won and done this, but they beat me with it. And so he was the cameraman and kept fucking with me, which caused me to get beat. And finally, I, rip his hat off and his Canyon. And so it was actually a pretty good storyline. It's just, they could have did it why give a guy a win and a guy a loss that's going to be on your pay-per-view and one that's not going to be on it? It wasn't personal, and Big Vito knew it wasn't personal. And I told him it wasn't. I said, bro, you heard me ask you how you wanted to beat me. I said, but so he was totally cool with it, and we wrestled several times, and he's a hell of a worker. Great guy. I love him to death, but he was actually in the room the day I was going to be calm and do what they told me to do. Yeah. And it fell apart as soon as I said, wait a minute. Are you on the show? He goes, no. I said, you're not even on the pay-per-view at all. He goes, no. And I got straight up and everybody, don't go to Russo, please. Yeah, so he got to witness that. So we've never talked about it. So that's funny. That's great. That's a good story, though. Vito's a great hand. He and I, we just personality clash. As simple as that. He and I just didn't. Oh yeah, he's great. So, Dwayne Atkinson with the $5 super chat. He kind of typoed over it, but I'm going to clean it up for you. He says, "Why didn't Buff ever receive a singles title run in WCW?" That's a good question, because I think at one point, because honestly, by the time when you turned on Scotty Riggs, I should say, there's 3,000 Skies in the damn company. Right. And before you got hooked up with Norton, another Scott, jeez, Scott Riggs, Scott Norton, Scott Steiner. I'm just throwing it out there. Right. You had a little run there where you were doing the singles thing for a little bit, and I'm thinking, people always say, well, he was the first low ball guy in NWO. It's like, dude, Marc got himself. He's one of those organic. He got himself over by just doing what he was doing. Right. As Marcus Alexander Bagwell. Yeah, at least that's pretty tough to do. Title. Yeah, seriously. In 1990, the stupid lethal lottery, they pair you up with a Freebird against another Freebird on the other team. Like, that's just okay. Let's just shoot him dead now and be done with it. Yeah. Right. So, but so you got great talent, great in-ring work, but almost right away it seemed like you're going to be a tag guy. And I really got labeled with that real quick. And for what it's worth, 5-time tag team champion, 109 days as champion. That's not bad. And keep in mind that's with 5 different partners. Scorp. No. Yeah, Scorp. No. Patriot. Yeah. Scorp first. Are you sure Scorp? Scorpio. We were tag team of the year. Oh, that's right. I was rookie of the years, and that was the first cover shot I made with Scorp. Oh, that's right. That's right. First tag team championship was Two Cold Scorpio. Then Patriot, I remember that. Yeah. And then Scotty Riggs, and then oh god, Stat Boy, help me out in the chat room. God, I'm so bad at this. My friend, I don't know his damn stats. That's terrible. Anyway, then Luger. You and Lex? Where were you and Lex? Oh, that's right. Spring Stampede, the Russo thing. That's right. Totally buff, man. That's right. I forgot about that. Buff. Yeah, there you go. And then Shane Douglas was in there somewhere. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember Shane, but I've got an 8x10. Right. That has got me wearing the belt, tag belt. Right. Shane Douglas has got the tag belt on. Oh, okay. And we're holding Jeff Jarrett. It's holding up the world title. Stampede. Okay, yeah. So somehow or another, me and Douglas became. So it may be 6 with 5. I'm not sure. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because Spring Stampede was the first after the reboot, the famous reboot, and like everybody on Russo's team won the belts that night. So so you and Shane were champions after that. But yeah, and then also me and Patriot won twice. Oh, that's right. That's right. Because that may be there a little messing it up. Because you traded with Orndorff and Roma. Yeah, it's pretty wonderful. Another interesting combination. So, but never the singles thing, and I never understood that. And really, I didn't either. It just seemed like, I mean, I can't tell you the weeks, week after week after week that we wrestled the Steiner brothers, and I'd go to Terry Taylor and go, Terry, how many times can we fucking wrestle the Steiner brothers, man? I mean, shit, we've done everything we can do, but he'd go, dude, that's what they're calling for. And then I remember one night I had Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit as my tag partners. Okay.
I remember that.
And I was
the Horsemen were splitting.
Yes, yeah. And I was like just getting over, but I really getting over. Yeah. But I still did not want my music to play with these two stars I'm going out with.
No.
So I go to Terry Taylor and I go, Terry, please don't play my music, please. Right. And so he does his little, calls the truck and all that, and he go, it's straight from the top, your music. So when we come out of the back, it's Malenko on one side of me and Benoit on the other side doing their typical, just, tough walk. And I'm like, pointing fingers at Malenko, and I'm doing the butt thing over toward Benoit, and I'm getting no reaction.
No reaction. No, nothing. Ugh.
You know what I fucking did? I said, fuck it. And I went my butt fucking dance. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Boom. I said, if y'all ain't gonna fucking at least play along, and I'm trying to put you over, fuck you. Let's just see who's the most over. I'll fucking win. And I tried my best. I'm like pointing fingers at him, and this is Kristen Wall, this is D. Malik, and they just never even looked at me. And finally, I said, fuck this. So I went in the ball fucking strut and come out with a fucking, I said, fuck it. I'm gonna show out and just show him who really is over then. Yeah. And Malik was so big on that guy can't work. Look, motherfucker, it ain't about who can work. It's about who can sell a fucking ticket.
That's it. Yeah, that was the whole argument with Hogan and Flair all those years, because they had the argument, it's
Hogan's got the worst punch in the business. And I worship the ground Hulk Hogan walks on, and he sold tickets, bro. He's God. I mean, who don't love Hulk Hogan? Well, and here's Malenko going, well, that guy can't work. Who gives a fuck about working? We're trying to put people asses in seats,
right?
So just because Dean's a great worker, and he was,
of course, he was.
That's going to put asses in seats too. But you got to have a little bit of it all.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, I don't understand at all why.
But now I never did get really a singles run. When me and Scotty broke up. When me and Scotty broke up, Bischoff loved that because that was about half shoot. Shit, it was 3/4 shoot. Because if you really watch the interview that was in Cincinnati with me and Scotty face to face, keep in mind to keep your job, all you got to do is the ending, which is the handshake, and he turned on me and give me the sidewalk slam, and then the chair, and then the camel, Steiner recliner, and then we did what we were supposed to do.
Right.
But if you remember, it was a nose to nose. The interview was one of our best ever because it was fucking a complete shoot,
Right.
And like I went to walk away one time and he grabbed me and jerked me back. Yeah. And you can see my nostril. Anybody that knows me, my nostrils flared kind of. And I said, you know what? Ever since I got back into shape, I said, Scotty's just a little bit jealous.
Yeah.
And he came back with the greatest line ever, though. He goes, no matter how great you look, you will always be second best.
Right.
So it was just a great interview, man.
Yeah.
I said, maybe you want to scan the crowd, look at all the Buck Daddy signs. And he lost it. He goes, I don't give a beep, beep, beep about the crowd. I don't give a beep, 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 beep.
Yep.
So it was a good thing. So Eric was thrilled to death. And I had to go to Scotty 2 weeks later and literally go, do I need to protect myself for the match? That's true story. I said,
I believe it.
Do I need to protect myself? And he acted like it didn't even faze him, and he paused and he went, no.
Yeah.
But he thought about it. He thought
exactly.
Maybe you don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I still didn't know. And then as soon as we locked up, I could tell he was going to work with me, But when he got the Steiner recliner on, I had to give him the office, okay, bro, you're locking up a little bit too tight here.
Yeah.
We get it. Steiner recliner, Buff loses.
Broken. Hi.
Yeah, broken neck don't go that way very far still.
Yeah, no, don't do that shit. So before the next person has an aneurysm, because he's put it like all over social media and all over. I will. Here it is, Big G. Here you go. $5 from our friend Jeff. Not me, Jeff. Different Jeff. Where the hell's my cursor? There it is. Meeting Buff Bagwell back in El Paso was the first wrestler I ever met, and we have a picture. There we go. Where did it? Uh-oh. Oh, hell, I didn't upload. Oh, okay. I put it in the wrong spot. My bad. Hang on a second. Technical difficulties. Yeah, so it's cool that, we get stories like this because, for us doing the shows all those years, we met you guys, right? But it was all over phone, over screen. Like, we never actually get to meet you guys. So
that's one thing I didn't understand. I can't believe we never had anybody in the back to actually meet the stars.
Yeah.
And very rarely do we go out and do like signings or anything. Oh, wow.
Wearing the hat. There you go, G. I love that. That's cool.
And that's the silver hat. I didn't have that for very long, bro.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the silver tights and everything. So that's a good
man.
One.
That's a vintage buff
yes.
there.
Yes.
But so it's funny, like you and I crossed paths in 2003 doing the show. We didn't meet face to face until 2012, 9 years later.
Right.
Like it's just people, oh, you got to talk to Dusty Rhodes. I never shook the man's hand. Oh, you got to interview Randy Savage. I never met Savage. I talked to Randy Savage. Oh, you got to talk to Jimmy Hart on the phone. I finally met Jimmy years later.
Did you?
Yeah.
What a great guy, huh?
Jimmy is a gem. I'll tell you what.
He's great.
So we had Jimmy on around the same time we had you on the show, and then he and Hulk came out when Hulk did his second book, the really good memoir, right? The one that told everything, not the WWF bullshit one. Right. So I went to the Grove down here in LA for that and met Hulk, and Jimmy was there, and he kind of looked at me and so we finally got our first photo together. It was really cool and everything.
Right.
I went to leave because I was told you shake Hulk's hand. If there's a picture of you shaking his hand, that's great, but no post pictures.
Right.
So I go to leave, and Jimmy goes, "Where are you going, baby?" I said, "I'm leaving." He goes, "Don't leave yet. You got this. Just be calm." I hid behind a bookshelf. Hulk comes walking up to go to the break room. I darted. I go, "Hulk, please, one picture, brother." He puts that big freaking pod. He goes, "Where's your camera, brother?"
Oh man!
Because Jimmy Hart. So Jimmy Hart made my meeting my favorite ever happen. So Jimmy, I owe Jimmy forever. So
God, that's great.
I love Jimmy Hart, and I will like people. If anybody has a reason to crap on Jimmy Hart, they're a bad person. Okay, I'm still into that.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, let's see what we got here in the chat room. Oh wow, $20. Holy crap. Okay, $20 super chat. Thank you for that. From Adam. Klondike Bill is a urban legend, but do you have any stories about Klondike Bill that you can tell?
Oh my God. I would love to ask this person, how does he know Klondike Bill?
He knows about Klondike Bill because of our buddy Eric's podcast.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
I don't got a lot. You know what? I do got one good one. I got a great one.
All right. Go for it.
But you got to realize Klondike Bill was our ring guy.
Right.
And took our stuff around. I mean, back in the early 90s, and I can't remember till when, but I know for 3 or 4 years, I would see the suspenders and the Santa Claus looking beard, and Klondike Bill was his name, and he was our ring guy. And I was very young. I'm 20, 21, 22, 23.
Yeah.
So this has been 25, 27 years ago,
Yeah.
But the only story I have on him is I was sitting and talking to him one day,
right,
and he was talking about a woman.
Uh-oh.
How deep can we talk here on this?
Well, put it this way. I think he asked because I remember now Tony Schiavone's podcast with Conrad is very Klondike Bill heavy, so there's pretty much no holds barred at this point about Bill.
Okay, he talked about
Aaron. I'm sorry in advance. Go ahead.
Okay, he talked about a woman having a urine smell in her hair of her woman parts, and how much that turned him on. And I just remember thinking, here's an old dude that's still got something that turns him on, and God bless him, But I'll never forget this story, dude. He talked about a urine smell that turned him on. Yeah. And Klondike Bill was I always took time to talk to him because he was such a great guy. And,
dude, Bill,
and I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he died or
I don't think he passed.
I have no ending story on him because I mean, it ain't like exactly the truck guy and us. It ain't exactly like we had a lot of time to talk. I mean, as soon as we got there, we were doing shit constantly, shooting promos and all that.
Right. I mean, he had his 5 minutes during that thing where Flair took over and Bill made Eric, run the truck or whatever. So yeah, I mean, we've all seen Bill, but yeah, Tony Schiavone has made Klondike Bill the second legends on his podcast. So God bless you, Tony. We love you, brother.
Klondike Bill, that's great.
It's fantastic. So the next one is, I don't know how to, I think we can answer it with a completely different answer than the ones he chose, but we'll go ahead. Dwayne says, what was the worst Russo match, the 49ers match or the Viagra on a pole? Do you not remember he put this man's mother on a forklift, dude? Like, seriously.
Yes. That is the worst of all. I mean, are you kidding? And if you remember, I had to win and go let her down.
Right.
To save my mom from the forklift. To keep in mind, this is the same night David Arquette beat Goldberg for the world title.
No.
So that, keep in mind also, that was the last pay-per-view ever in Vancouver, Canada for WCW. That was it, brother. That was the last one.
No. The one in Vancouver was New Blood Rising, which was an atrocious. That was the last August show you guys did.
Right. Do we have another one?
You guys went to March 01. I don't know if you were on the call. I remember you and Lex were against Goldberg and Sarge because that ended Goldberg's career.
Right. But didn't Sarge get hurt and end up just being us against? Because I hate Goldberg. Listen to this.
Oh, here we go.
Another story for you.
Uh-oh.
I hate Goldberg with the Blockbuster, but he didn't want me to cover him. He wanted Lex to cover him. He did not want me to cover him. Dude. So is that crazy? I hit him with a Blockbuster, but he did not want me to. I didn't hear about it. I heard about it through the bosses, but I was not to cover him. Lex was to cover him.
If I run into a good relation Bill Goldberg story, it'll be the first time. I said if I have somebody tell me a good relation Bill Goldberg story, it'll be the first time.
Let me tell you another one real quick.
Go for it, please.
I was starting to get heat, a lot of heat. Right. And it was because of this was going on. Podcasts and radio shows and people would ask me questions and I'm a very truthful guy.
Yes.
And I like with Hugh Morris, for example, I got a ton of heat with Hugh Morris one time because the guy asked me, whoever I was doing the show for out in Vegas, I'll never forget, it was in Las Vegas. And I'm doing a talk over the phone.
Right.
And he says, do you think, Hugh Morris is money? And my exact answer was, I said, well, first of all, let me tell you this. I go, I don't consider myself money. I said, your Lugers, your Stings, your Hogans. I said, that's money. I said, I don't consider myself money, but to answer your question, no, I don't think Hugh Morris is money.
No.
After saying I'm not money.
Right.
I walk in the locker room and I get a ton of heat for saying this.
Oh, of course you do.
So I'm like, I said, I pull him to the side and I go, did you not fucking hear the whole thing? I said, I'm not money either.
Yeah.
I said, so I didn't just dog you, I dogged myself.
Right.
But he took it serious. So I was getting that kind of heat. Anyway, my last person to talk to on me having heat was Goldberg. I suppose we had heat with Goldberg. So this all came from Lex because Lex took care of me. And so I go, I'm waiting for Bill outside of Orlando. I'll never forget his Orlando. And I'm waiting outside and Bill pulls up. And I go up to him and I go, hey man, what's going on? He goes, oh, nothing much. Just getting here. I said, listen, I need to talk to you a little bit. I said, I hear that I've got a little bit of heat with you. He said, well, man, he goes, I saw you do something one day that just blew my mind. He goes, I can't get over it. I said, what could I have possibly done to blow your mind? He goes, we were on an airplane and this heavy set, or he said fat, but I was trying to keep the fat word out of it. But he said, this fat girl asked for your autograph on the airplane and you told her no. And I went,
okay.
Bill. I said, Bill, I have never turned down an autograph in my entire life. Right. I said, I've got witnesses that would stand in court and swear that I have never turned down an autograph in my entire life. And he sat there and swore that and that was the heat that I had with him because I did not sign this fat girl's autograph, which anybody that knows Marc Bagwell, I have never not signed an autograph. I go out of my way. I can't tell you the people that have given me a card.
Right.
And they probably thought, that guy will never send an autograph. And had gone to their mailbox, opened it up one day, and there was a Buff Bagwell 8x10.
Right.
I mean, that happened so many times because it meant if somebody asked for an autograph from me, it meant so much to me to give it to them. And so here's the bad part. I had to take it. I had to take it like I really did do it.
Of course.
And go, well, I'm sorry for that. And can we, and so I'd fix all of my heat, so to speak. And, but when I heard that one, I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
All right.
So anyway.
So here's my shit with Bill. And people have heard the story 100 times. So I'm sorry if you heard the story. Just mute me for about 2 seconds here.
Okay.
The same show you were on back in the day. Same show that Bobby Heenan was on. Randy Savage was on. Joni Lauer, like anybody that I couldn't get from Vince because Vince doesn't do the little podcast, right? We call Bill Goldberg up. He wasn't even with the company yet. He wasn't doing anything. And we very respectfully, we requested an interview for him. We talked to him. He just flat out said,
wow.
And my co-host looked at Aaron and like, so, he don't get along very much anymore, the co-host and I, but yeah, fuck Goldberg. No.
Yeah. He's a little rough. I mean, when he first started in the business, we was in Macon, and he had all of his big jacked up buddies with him, and they're all sitting there and everything. And of course, back then it was so hot. Your parents wanted to go, your friends wanted to go. So you only got 7 tickets. You had to buy the rest. And so I'm backstage trying to get everybody adjusted and make sure they're not bothering nobody. And my mom and dad's backstage, but everybody's other mom and dad's backstage too. And so everybody's kind of juggling and getting their autographs professionally and making sure the guys aren't getting bothered too bad and all that stuff. Well, I passed by Goldberg, and Goldberg goes, man, you got little feet. And I just laughed it off, and all his big buddies behind him, And so I walked by, I swear to God, I think I think about it.
Right.
I come back by, and he says it again. He goes, I just can't get over how little your feet are. And I mean, keep in mind, he hasn't been on TV yet.
Right.
And I go, I said, yeah. I kind of answer. I go, yeah. I do got little feet, And so I go and do whatever I'm doing, trying to get mom and dad with their autographs or meet Sting or whatever they wanted to do, and the same old thing everybody was doing. I come back by, and he says it again. So I sit down at his table, and I put my foot up on the table, and I said, little bitty foot with a big old fucking contract.
Yeah.
And all of his guys and him just like, whoa. and I just went, I said, anything else you want to say about my little feet? And he actually said, no, that's it. And I said, good. Because I said, these little feet need to go make sure my big contract's getting taken care of. And so, I mean, and like I said, I really think I had heat with him from that point on. Right. But see, here's the things nobody knows.
Yeah.
I love Bill Goldberg. I really do. We actually became friends.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry about that then.
And we were friends because we were from the same area and all that, and had the same friends. But he followed us around Main Event Fitness, which is Sting, Lex, and me, because that's what we always trained.
Yep.
And he always wanted to know how to get in the business.
Puppy dog.
And we always told him. We said, dude, you go down to, we didn't have no school back then. You went down to Griffin, Georgia.
Yeah.
And Jody Hamilton and Sarge had a little rinky-dink little warehouse. And that's where you got your start. That's where Kevin Nash got his start as the Master Blaster.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, he was first the Master Blaster, way before he was anything else.
Vinny or any Oz or that shit.
Yeah, way before Vinny Vegas and all that stuff. But he had the Mohawk. He did the biker thing.
One of his original tag team partners back then?
Al Green.
Not even Al Green. Tyler Mane from the Halloween movies.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I do remember that. And then
Tyler's
out
here.
Big Sky.
Big Sky
did some stuff. He did some Mineral Light commercials and stuff.
Yeah. Freaking Tyler Mane works out of our gym over here. He lives out here. He is a big motherfucker.
How tall is he legit? Is he 7?
Well, okay, put it this way. Like, he's in the Michael Myers movies, in the Rob Zombie ones, and he makes the original Michael look like a freaking midget. He is like,
he's got to be 7.
I'm about 5'7" on a good day if I got platform shoes on, right? Like, hi. So yeah, he is a huge.
Those kind of guys. Like, for some reason on TV, they don't come across that way. But when they walk in your house or walk up on you, it really is so impressive.
I'll never forget, Mark, the first time I went to a WWF show after Paul White had jumped ship.
Yeah,
I was at ringside, and the Giant walked by me. I went, "Good God damn!"
Yeah.
Like, and at that time he was the biggest guy in the sport until Khali came along, and I was at a show in LA when Khali. Well, I was across the arena from him, and you can't see anything because there's people in front of you. I could see Khali's upper half walking the ring, going.
Khali had to be like seven and some change. He had to be
like he was near El Gigante. He was damn close to Gigante. He was huge.
Yeah, he had to be over 7 because I actually measured, believe it or not. I was, everybody would always stir the shit, but I was kind of always the guy that had to follow through and do it.
Right.
Well, the Giant and Nash did not want to measure and see who was the tallest because neither one of them wanted it to be shorter.
Right.
Well, finally we get it. The boys get it all stirred up big enough to where they take their shoes off, and who's holding the measuring tape?
Of course, Marc, because God forbid anybody else getting the shit.
Oh my God, because nobody else wanted it. Nobody else wanted the job to get the heat. I said, "Fuck, I'll measure." So I swear to God, on your life and mine, right now, I pull the measuring tape up. And they were fucking identical, barefooted, 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
So, but here's a story on. First of all, have you seen any pictures of Paul White lately?
I actually ran into him just before the shit hit the fan. And
dude, he's got abs and everything now.
Yeah, it's like the hell.
I got a picture of him. Pull it up online. I got a picture of him with ripped abs. I mean, you can see 2, 4, 6. You can see 6 abs.
Right.
And he's lean. He's holding the phone himself. He's got pecs. And I mean, he looks tremendous. He's got a big fat picture of him as Big Show.
Right.
And he looks so great, man. He looks fantastic.
Seriously.
But I don't know if you've seen that picture of him.
No, I have. Can you imagine if that Big Show came into WCW or the WWF?
Dude, he'd have been, I mean, unstoppable, but at the same time, he was really hard to handle at first anyway because he was such an athlete. Do you know he could do a kip up?
Yeah,
he could do a kip up.
I saw it. Yeah.
And the problem is we needed a. Well, look at me here. We needed a.
We need Andre.
And he didn't want to be that. Even Scott Hall would make fun of him. If you remember, Scott Hall would always go, "Oh," and he hated it. because he could throw an arm drag, he could throw a drop kick, he could come off the top rope.
Yeah,
he could do all that stuff, but we didn't need a giant that could work better than us.
No,
we needed a giant that came in and
he
didn't want to play that role.
I remember he was brought in to go against Hulk and be Andre's son, and I
was there when he got hired. The camera was going around the building, and front row is this. Paul White was a good-looking dude. I mean, when he had the long hair and everything. I mean, we had a fight on who was better looking one time between me and him, and the boys are going, Paul, you're a good-looking guy, man, but Bagwell's fucking off the chain, dude.
He
would argue. He would argue about it. He'd go, I'm better looking than Bagwell. I'm better, and he was a good-looking guy. He really was.
Right.
And me and Paul became very good friends. He rode with me and Lex for a couple of years.
He's a really cool guy.
He's a super cool guy.
Yeah.
But I swear, dude, I got a story that's hilarious, and anybody that knows about bottled Coors Lights knows that they're very hard to get off.
Yes.
And Paul White at a pay-per-view meeting, which we didn't make many of, that's when you had to come in the night before. The night before, just to bullshit around and make sure you were there for the pay-per-view.
Right.
And but we actually, this is back when we had to do it. Things were getting serious and everybody was there. So it's me and Luger and Paul White, Big Show, or the Giant for us, and Scott Norton and da. I mean, he was the strongest man in the world and all that. Well, Paul White reaches over with the Coors Light bottle and goes with his thumb, and he goes with his thumb, and the top goes, and it hits the roof.
Yeah.
And then Norton goes, I can do that. So Norton grabs it and does it, and it goes, and all the boys were like, and he kept trying, his thumb's bleeding.
And Scott Norton on a power thing.
Yeah. Oh, dude, because I mean, he legitimately was, the world champion strongman and arm wrestling, and him, Rude had that same thing. Rude was a legit, state or whatever champion.
And two guys that are pricks and grrr on the air. You'll never meet two nicer guys in the world. Swear to God. Rick Rude and Scott Norton. My God.
Just is he not a teddy bear? He's
Scott
the biggest
Norton
teddy bear in the world.
And Rick Rude, the one time I remotely got close to him, super nice guy.
Oh, yeah. I loved it. If you remember, if he came out to wrestle by himself, he was a little bit boring. And then when he came out to wrestle with me, I was on his back, and it was and it was vicious and delicious,
Yeah. Speaking of that, okay, I got a bone to pick with you. I got a bone to pick with you.
Come on.
I want to know who was in charge of manufacturing either WCW merchandise or the periphery stuff, like went to Walmart or whatever. Because I found out through you yesterday that you, like Rob Van Dam, like Chris Jericho, and like the Undertaker character, 30 years in this year. I didn't know that till yesterday, right? So, okay, well, I bought a Taker shirt, and so I got to buy me a Buff shirt to match the set.
Good luck.
I go to eBay. These shirts are fucking atrocious. They're terrible.
I've got one, and it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's the only one that I've ever seen, and it's yellow, and it's and pictures with wrestlers' faces on them never sell very good, but it's got my face on it. And it says Buff is the stuff, and it's got a little something on the back, a little writing on the back of it even, but it's yellowish. Yeah. But I've seen that one a couple of times, but I'm telling you, I think it's the only shirt they even gave of me, bro.
So
it was brutal.
So
I got in a lot. By the way, I got in a lot of trouble for arguing about that.
Well, then I'm gonna get you in more trouble right now. I don't really care.
Good.
They're dead. Who gives a shit, right? So
exactly.
All right. So this is what I find on freaking eBay. This is ridiculous, and I'm very chapped about this.
Okay, I do remember these. The one I'm talking about is the blue, and the one I'm pointing
right here.
The bottom far right one was just a
Look at this shit.
A guy that I knew made it, and somehow it kind of stuck out. But the only one that I felt like was a good one was, I think, the one that's got Buff Daddy, the blue in the back.
Right, this one.
Beside the one with my arms out was the only one. I've never seen the Vicious and Delicious one.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the one I can't afford, and it sucks.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. But the one in the blue is a pretty good one.
Yeah, but
the one below it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
it looks not bad.
But here's the problem: men's
$50.
Men's small, $50. Youth large, $40. 2X, which will barely cover my fat ass, and it's this god awful, and it's not even both of you. It's
and where's he at?
So I need to tell, whoever ran Turner Merchandise needs to go kiss my ass.
Dude, I said I got in a huge fight with. You got to realize we didn't have a.
No, you didn't. Marketing.
Computer.
Yeah, none of that shit.
There wasn't no computer stuff that you could just pick and what you want to do. There was a piece of paper that you went and checked and seen how many shirts you sold that night. And I was like, Eric, can you not give me a decent shirt that sells, man? Yeah. So I got in trouble one night for that. And
of course.
And then of course, Brad, what was his name? Brad, the TNT president. Brad Siegel. Very good. He was.
I didn't say that loud.
I showed up. I didn't say it. I showed up to his office one day because I was in trouble. And I was in trouble for 3 things.
Right.
And as I walked in the room, I went back to close the door, and the door closed on its own.
Whoa.
And I instantly was off my horse. And I was like, whoa. I'm like in trouble.
Yeah.
So we sit down. And I'm actually having a hard time remembering all 3 things now. But one was a drug test.
Of course.
In Birmingham. Remember the night they dumped all the red dye on us and all that?
Yeah.
Okay. We had me and Shane Douglas. I've only got one witness for this, but a good one. Me and Shane Douglas went to the mall and picked out everybody's clothes. We went out and wrote their shoe size down, their pant size, and we shopped for everybody's clothes. That way WCW didn't have to buy, a $300 pair of cowboy boots or whatever. Right. We wore the stuff that we bought that was cheap. So we had the red dye dumped on us, so it didn't matter.
Right.
So during that and being in 5 segments out of 12, they're trying to get me to piss. And I said, Brad, whatever in my system today in Birmingham is going to be in my system tomorrow, no matter what you do. I said, so big deal. So I get out of that trouble. The other one was, God dang it, what was it? It was 3 things. And I can't believe I can't remember because it cost me $40,000.
Jesus.
40 grand, brother.
That's crazy.
I sat at home and lost a month's pay, which back then was that stage.
That's
40,000.
Yeah, that's bad.
And it didn't hit me until I was almost home because that was 2 pay periods. And I called him up and I said, Brad, that's 40 grand. He said, it's that or your job.
Right.
I said, see you later.
That's right.
But that's the time where I was in the Texas town way down at the spring break in Texas.
Oh, geez, yes.
What's that town called?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but
what, baby? No, it's way down at the very tip, and it was a huge spring break. God, I can't think of it, but it was right at the tip of Texas. But anyway, we were there, spring break, having a blast. There's 10,000 people on the beach, and we got a big stand there, and nobody. I mean, the kids are not doing anything. They're not clapping. They're not getting with the music. Nothing. And a girl named Donna Seaman, believe it or not, that was her name. Donna Seaman, and she loved me, and she was head of marketing.
Oh,
she
yeah, okay.
She came to me and she goes, please, Buff, come up here and get it going. And I said, can I cuss? And she goes, no. So she went walking around. Van still ain't doing nothing. She's panicking. She comes to me a second time. Please, Buff, please, anything. I said, I can't cuss. I said, can I cuss? She goes, no. I said, I can't help you. So finally she comes to me and she goes, you can do anything you want. Here's the mic. Get these people with it. Uh-oh. So I walk up on, this is a true story. Now, somebody, surely that God's got a video of it, but I've never seen it. But I made the front page of the Globe. I know that. My God. I get up on stage, I grab the mic, and I go, who wants to see some pussy?
I remember this story now. Yes.
And the crowd goes crazy. I point at a girl, and I point where I want her to stand. She walks out. I grab her short bikinis and drop them, and she steps out of them.
Nice.
And the next girl I point at, I point to the ground. She comes out. The crowd's going crazy. I drop her trunks.
Oh, my God.
She steps out of them. I go back. I hand Donna the microphone, and I said, there you go. The crowd's going crazy. We got naked girls on the stage. Hey, up behind the stage is Eric Bischoff and J.J. Dillon. The cops are laughing. Not one complaint. Not one arrest.
Nope.
But it cost me $40,000. I said, Brad, I said, that's something Buff would do. And I said, Buff, that's something Buff is cool. That's cool.
Right.
And he goes, Time Warner don't think it's cool.
As I was going to say, Eric, for all the corporate he got into down the line, Eric was still a cool guy at the end of the day. And even JJ, who was this old waspy, white guy, from the 70s or whatever, he does.
All of them were up there clapping and just with it, but I lost the money.
But then freaking guys, it's because those guys in the South Tower couldn't handle it. They couldn't process. All right, I need to get super chats. The super chats are going crazy, so I need to get to them real quick here.
Let's do it.
All right, $15. Okay, guys, I know you want to ask the questions and get the soundbite from Buff Bagwell, but come on. But I'll go ahead and ask it, but come on, guys. How often did you have to carry Disco through a match? And was he as great a worker as he claims to be? Dude, okay. Before you start, here's the thing. I don't like Glenn now because his personality grates on everybody he talks to, right? When Disco was in the ring doing the disco thing, he was a damn good worker. Like the only reason he was in the NWO is because his character was a goofy idiot.
Yeah.
Like honestly, when they put him with the Wolfpack and it made him, Scott's bitch for a while, it worked though. It was funny.
Right.
But you're not going to have Disco be a full-time Wolfpack member. He's not that cool. Okay. But in the ring, take the stupid Wolfpack shirt off it, but put him in the ring with the tights on.
Cherry, hold on a second. What was it I had to call Glenn and cuss him out over?
Oh shit! Here we go.
What did he dog me out about? There was something that I literally, brother, you can. There's not this many people I've done this to. I literally had to call him and ask him, "What the fuck are you saying that for?"
Yeah,
because he buried me, and I can't remember if it was over on a big podcast, and he goes, man. "Oh man, it was a joke." I said, "Bro, people don't." I can't remember what it was now, but it was heavy. Funny. It was deep. Yeah, but to stick with the question, to be honest,
right?
Glenn Gilberti was a fantastic worker.
Yes,
fantastic.
Yes,
bro. And I mean, he always was there. Never missed a spot. Never missed a move. Yeah. Every match I've ever had with him, we nailed the finish. I mean, it was Glenn Gilberti, you just can't dog out for that. There's no way. I mean, he was really a good talent.
When he wasn't wrestling, he's got that Scott Levy Raven mind where he can come up with shit. It's gold, right? And That's the one thing I regret about Vince Russo not going back to the WWE before they brought
Gilberti was an agent he was an agent for us for a while.
That's the same. When Vince was getting ready to jump back before TNA started, Glenn was part of the deal to go with Vince Russo. And I'm like, please put him on the damn writing staff.
Yes.
And it fell through because it's like, because he's a creative dude. He is. He's got that Russo personality where you catch him 1 minute, he's the sweetest guy. The next minute, you want to punch him in his mouth. So
I mean, he was one of the few guys that I would work that we did more of his spots than we did of mine.
Exactly.
Normally, like even when I would wrestle Luger and the Steiners and those guys, they wouldn't admit this, but I'm being honest. It was a majority of my spots we came up with.
Right.
And then of course, they always ended up winning or racking me or whatever, but it was me coming up with the funny way of me coming up with a funny way of getting into it,
right.
And or a creative way, and that's how Disco was. He was getting beat and still coming up with a cool way for you to beat him.
Right.
So he was Glenn. I never had a problem with ever, but when he did this podcast, I'm talking about that I called him on. I don't call nobody, dude. I wouldn't waste my time to do that. But this was a friend that I can't remember. I cannot believe I can't remember, but he crossed the line on this. I want to think, was it pills or partying? But it wasn't. Right. And we've even got a great story for that where we had to run from about 40 guys that were going to kill us one night and I think Florida somewhere. And he told that story 1,000 times, but he was on this podcast, dude, and let me up. He let me up.
And see, and that's unfortunate because once
I told him? You know what I told him? I said, to be honest with you, I said, it hurt my feelings, bro.
Right, exactly.
I said, I'm not mad. I know. I said, I'm not mad. I said, it hurt my feelings.
Exactly.
I said, we go way back, bro. We started at the same place with Joe Pedicino.
Yeah.
And I mean, Scotty Riggs, me, the Glacier. Glacier was called the Blazers.
I remember that. Yeah.
Dude, I think and Scotty was called Scotty the Body for North Georgia Wrestling. Van Hammer.
Yeah.
Van Hammer was there.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of guys came from that Joe Pedicino North Georgia Wrestling.
Right.
And and me and Glenn were two of them. And but it just really did hurt my feelings, man. Right. It really did. But anyway, to answer your question, that's really, I never carried Disco.
No.
He even carried me, to be honest with you, if anybody carried somebody. And really, 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 he really is a great worker, to answer your question.
Exactly. So before I get to the next super chat, let me have a brief moment here of Meach Marc out. Being a WCW guy to the death, how cool was it to be at the biggest Starrcade ever and get a win over your buddy Lex? How cool was that?
Dude, can you imagine?
Right?
I mean, I was a kid, sitting in my living room watching Lex Luger on television,
being the world champion and facing Sting. Yeah, that's
yes. And then all of a sudden, I'm in the ring with Side Lex.
Yeah.
And I'm tag team partners with him and we're world champions.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I get a chance to beat him.
Yeah. On the undercard of Hogan Sting. Seriously.
I mean, that's big time, brother. That's semi-main against one of the tops.
Dude.
And you're beating one of the top talents of the world, brother. So was you.
That's where my chest puffs out for my friend. I'm like, look what my friend did. Look at that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see there. I told you. Yeah,
that's my buddy. So
I'll tell you another story real quick. When I beat Flair and Roddy Piper back to back.
Yeah, that blows my friggin' mind.
And dude, and the next week was Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I remember calling my dad, going, dude, we made it. We've got him.
Right.
And then guess what?
They buried you.
David Flair in front of 85,000 beats me. And this is when he couldn't run the ropes or anything, bro.
Yeah, right.
I had to almost pin myself.
Yeah, he wasn't crazy, David.
I had to hook my own leg and pin myself. And the people just booed. I mean, there was signs everywhere. And guess we were the first match. Match number 1, where everybody's all fired up. And here comes Buff Daddy, and Buff Daddy loses. And I just went, how easy they can rip the rope out from underneath you, just like that. Again. But when I beat Flair and got to the back, Luger goes, I want to congratulate you on that. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I never beat Flair in 11 years.
Not clean anyway.
Lex Luger never beat Ric Flair.
No, it's funny.
I was like, whoa! I even multiplied it by 1 million on that I was able to beat him and put me over. Yeah. So I really thought they had plans for me, and then they just caboose in Atlanta of all places.
Yeah, it's funny on that infamous Legends roundtable we talked about off camera. One of the clips they showed of Lex, who's also a heat seeker, was him beating Rick for the title, but he was so bloody they called it a State Athletic Commission stoppage.
So really? Is that why they get the win?
The whole stadium is going batshit thinking Lex won the title, and Tony's on microphone going, I don't think so. And they tell the crowd that Lex believes that he didn't win the title. You can hear
my God. Why don't we just completely just suck the air out of the crowd, right?
And I get it, Dusty wasn't there, but such a Dusty finish. Like, God damn it, really?
Yes.
Anyway, so this gentleman says, I was there the night you got hurt in Columbia, South Carolina. So glad you recovered, and God bless you. I agree with that, dude. Like, it's so funny. He and I have been talking the last 24 hours. The neck injury was the least bad thing that's happened to him. Like,
that's nothing now. I told you, people come and go, how's the neck? And I said, the neck? I forgot about the neck. Let's talk about the hip and the shoulder and the knee and the everything.
The ankle
and the ankle. I mean, but the neck for some reason, man. And I'll be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Right.
The reason for that is because I had my surgery before the cadaver stuff.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong. It is a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
They have to shave your hip off
to
put in place of your neck.
Right.
And 6 weeks after my neck surgery, I'm limping around and people go, what happened to you? And I go, I had neck surgery. And they go, what? Why are you limping then? Because they didn't realize that I had to shave off the hip.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you looked up in the history of medical books in 1998, April of 1998, when I broke my neck,
26, never forget it.
That was a time where doctors were experimenting with cadavers. Some were doing it, some wasn't. And my doctor did not do cadaver because real simple math, your bone is going to heal with your bone better than somebody else's bone healing with your bone.
Yep.
And so that's why they really, went with it. And man, my neck came out. I mean, knock on wood, I've never had and keep in mind, how long did they do they're going after that neck. And I had to come back to Bischoff and go, Eric, we got to drop the neck thing. I said, it's done. It's over.
Yeah.
Tell them to quit. And even when Rick Steiner grabs your neck, I mean, it's a man grabbing your neck.
Yeah.
So, a full-blown man,
Right.
And you're like, damn, man, easy, bro. I mean, shit, it really is a broken neck,
Yeah.
So and then one night Lex hit me with the guitar over the head, and he got a little too close to me, and the neck of the guitars were real.
Yeah.
So the other was balsa wood, but he caught me with the.
I remember that was when Jared debuted, and
that's when he turned on me.
I watched that clip. I went, oh,
yeah,
man,
and I came straight to the back, and I said, Eric, that's it. No more neck stuff, man. I got away with a broken neck, being paralyzed for 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's just get off the neck thing.
Yeah.
And we did. We dropped the neck thing, and went back just to me being, just whatever they were working. That's what they were working, arm, leg, whatever,
So I mentioned to Marc off air. I'm going to tell you guys now. I basically call him from the neck up. He's Marc. From the neck down, he's a $6 million man now.
Yes, I really am.
All right. Last question from Dwayne. He says, and this is a little sore. So if you don't want to answer, that's cool. What was it like backstage at Bash at the Beach after the Russo Hogan thing?
Well, first of all, let me tell you backstage with Russo. backstage with Russo when we first met him.
Right.
He brought in all the top talent, which was about, I'd say 40 guys. Right. He brought in 40 guys, and I can't remember the town, but I remember being in catering, and he had a room special that he was bringing in one guy at a time. Right. And telling them what he was going to do. Well, all 40 guys got together and found out, what did he tell you? What did he tell you?
Of course.
And he ended up telling all of us the same thing, which was, what's wrong with WCW is you're never, ever, ever, I'm never going to be on television. Everybody else wants to be a star. They want to be on television. That's why the twin brothers were always on TV. And all you heard was his voice. And then a couple weeks later, he's got a baseball bat. He's the world heavyweight champion, beating everybody up. So, Russo, I love Russo. Right. But I mean, if you're going to sit there and bring in talent and say, I'm never, ever, ever going to be on television, you should never, ever, ever be on television.
Right.
If that's what you really think is what's wrong with this company,
fine.
Then why are you going to screw it up and be on it? Right. And at $160, at 6'2" or whatever, at $160, why are you going to be a badass with a baseball bat?
Right.
It ain't like you're jacked up and can kick ass. Yeah. I mean, so I love Russo to death, but if he would have stayed with the off-camera thing, I really thought that worked and was kind of cool.
Yeah,
but that Bash of the Beach thing, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really. I just stayed out of that. It just was such a nasty, dirty thing that I just didn't want no part of it. So backstage really wasn't that bad. The only backstage thing that really ever happened bad was when Scott Steiner beat up Dallas.
Oh God, that's so bad.
And he literally was trying to rip Dallas's eyeball out.
Yeah,
and me and Legs were getting ready to do an interview, and Scotty's supposed to be in it, and he makes it. They're fighting over what Scotty said about Kimberly at the Richmond Coliseum. I'll never forget it. And this is when Russo and Bischoff are running the company together.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was going to work.
Oh, yeah.
And so here come Dallas, and let me tell you something. Dallas is a badass. I mean, he did a lot of things over the years that make people go, "Whoa, don't screw with Dallas. You may get your ass whipped."
No,
Dallas was no joke. I mean, he'd whip your ass. So Dallas, he wasn't a troublemaker, but he'd fight you. And so here, Scotty come at him, and Dallas, defended himself the best he could against Scott Steiner, but Scotty was going for his eyeball, bro.
Right.
And somebody got Scotty off of him, and damn if he didn't 3, 2, 1, and he was standing in our video, in our little promo we had. That was live. Jeez. It was live, and he made it. And me and Lex were making fun of Goldberg's book or something, and Scotty was talking about something, but I mean, he made it. And I was like, God damn, that's crazy. Maniac.
Yeah,
Scotty was a maniac.
Yeah, and again, people shit on Scotty for not being professional. You can't be more professional than getting your eye, having somebody die and on camera 2 seconds later, like, hi.
Yes. So, Scotty get in trouble for little things, and so would I. And they called it that we weren't professional. Like one night, we had a thing where the metal thing that opens the doors.
Right.
Well, production had set it up where we were supposed to come through those doors, see the TV, and Scotty was going to break it. Well, after the doors closed, those metal bars didn't work.
Uh-oh.
So the guy tells Eric that we didn't listen to him, and we screwed it up. Now here I got a main event match, a 6-man with Dallas Page. I think Booker T, Stevie Ray. I mean, it's a big time 6-man
right
main event match,
Ugh.
and I'm having to defend myself to Eric in the middle of this. And I go in his office with one boot, and I said, Eric, I'm trying to get ready for a main event match. I said, and I went and got the guy.
Right.
And I brought the guy in with me, and I said, tell what really happened right now.
Good for you, man.
And believe it or not, he told the truth. He said,
good for him.
It's my fault, Eric. Da, 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 da. You know, and Eric apologized, but still, we were, of course, Bagwell and Steiner. They're the troublemakers. They're the heat seekers. It's their fault, and all we did was just do what they told us to do, and the door was locked.
Jesus, yeah, exactly.
So Scotty, of course, went nuts and got us in trouble a little bit. And the guy was like, "Man, I couldn't get him to listen to me." So he buried us. So Eric was bringing us in one at a time, and we're trying to get ready for a main event match. It was crazy.
Mark, it occurs to me, you've been buried so much, you could have taken Undertaker's gimmick and just ran with it. I'm throwing it out there.
Oh, easy. Good one. That's very good, by the way.
On the fly, brother. So Adam says, what inspired $10? Thank you, Adam. Appreciate that. What inspired you to create the Blockbuster as your definitive finisher? And did you consider anything else before the Blockbuster?
No, my very first idea, because I was a huge Rick Rude fan. I loved him.
Nice.
He was the first guy I wrestled that I wasn't really sure how it was going to go. We were downstairs, and we were going. It was the rookie versus the world heavyweight champ, and it gives him a good win because I'm in shape and young, and it gives me a good match because I'm the rookie trying to get the world title and all that. So it's a good setup, and Dusty was booking at the time, so he knew I wasn't going to mess the spots up and give Rick. I was going to make Rick look good and all that.
Yep.
So it was a good setup, and so me and Rick talked about the match. We get in the ring, and he's looking at me or looking toward my way, and I'll never forget it. I went. And I looked behind me because I thought he was looking at somebody behind me, but he was looking at me. And I went, oh, my God. I said, so when I locked up, Rick Rude works very, very snug.
Oh, yes.
Extremely snug. Yes. So I wanted to answer your question about the Blockbuster. I wanted to do some kind of neck breaker like Rick Rude. So I came up with Off the Ropes trying to do it.
There you go.
And me and Scotty Riggs in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, before me and Scotty had our first match against each other in front of 100,000 people, bro. That's when we pulled up on the dump trucks and it was snowing. It was so cool.
Nice.
But believe it or not, Disco Inferno named it.
Of course he did.
He called it the Blockbuster, and it stuck. And believe it or not, we talked about this. WWE guys use that move.
Yeah,
I've seen Bobby Roode do it, and I've seen Seth Rollins do it. They ain't about to call it the Blockbuster, but they call it the Blockbuster.
I sit there every week and I go, really?
Yeah. Yes.
So, all right, one more. So one more super chat from the chat, and I'm gonna take the thing back over. Psycho J Black, $5. We kind of addressed your question, but I promise I throw it up there if you sent $5. So there it is. We've told many crazy Scott Steiner stories tonight, and we did talk about Jeff Jarrett. That we love Jeff Jarrett. He was a good worker. It's just he unfortunately got saddled with the fact that Russo had the sun rise and set in his ass, and it got him heat. As simple as that. So
that's really it. I mean, Jeff and me were great friends.
Jeff's a quality person, which you don't find often in the business. So
no, and he really was just. He was just. I mean, he didn't try to muscle his way in or nothing. He was just, he was just liked by a lot of guys like Russo, and so he got pushed in a lot of good ways. But then again, he also backed it up. He could work. He was a good worker. I thought he was a great worker. Every time I worked him, it was just smooth as silk, and he was a good guy. and we always got along extremely well. And then, you know, I really, in the Scott Steiner stories, there's so many, dude. I mean, he was just, when I was managing him and I was still hurt, I was really managing him. I was really going, Scotty, stop! You're going to get fired. You know, you're trying to kill J.J. Dillon on live TV here.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a lot of stories with Scotty because he was just. I mean, Scott Steiner was off the chain, brother, right there in that stage, and I loved it. It was cool,
right? Yeah.
But I couldn't stop him, so I just tried my best to throw myself in the middle of whatever he was doing, so he wouldn't get in trouble. You know,
it's like Scotty. JJ was all in.
Yes,
Jesus.
Yes.
So, okay,
don't kill him.
So every time Jeff gets mentioned, the people in the chat room go the never drew a dime line. You have to remember, folks, that line was on a WWE broadcast, and it came from Mike Graham. Mike Graham only got over because of his father's
God. You know what? I'm gonna say this, and God rest his soul.
Before you do, because I know the phrase you're going to use because I heard you use it on another podcast. But he's a piece of shit.
He is.
He's terrible.
And you know what makes me so mad is him and Bill Dundee, which I love Bill Dundee to death.
Yeah.
But they use, and Greg Gagne too.
Oh yeah.
Greg Gagne, Mike Graham, and Bill Dundee were our agents.
Right.
And because I was the youngest, greenest guy, even though I felt like I was pretty damn good, but they felt like if I was able to be on TV, why couldn't they be?
Right. Exactly.
And so because I was the youngest and kind of green and kind of didn't know what I was doing. And when Scorpio left our company, I was outside in the ring trying to learn his 1.5.
I remember that.
So I was going to take that move.
Yep.
And I was going to use it. You know, I mean, hell, why wouldn't you?
Why not?
Right?
Yeah, it's shit. Yeah.
So of course, my Graham walks out and goes, "Don't you think you need to learn how to work before you do a finish?" And that's just the kind of guy he was. He was just, I mean, his claim to fame is he backed down Sid Vicious with a squeegee. I mean, God, who cares? I mean, you're 5'5", and your tights are older than you are, and your boots are too. And I mean, God, and you just he hated the fact that I was 20 and had a job and was kind of green, you know. So it just, you know, I never liked him.
And again, I try very hard not to speak ill of the dead. I really try to not do that on my shows. But you guys have to understand something. He is the world's biggest double talker I've ever seen on any wrestling videos ever. And I'll tell you why.
Yes.
He went on a WWE, got it. If you have out, Jeff, produced DVD and claimed that he brokered the deal to get Hogan in the WCW.
Oh my God. He wasn't even in the building.
Well, no. The thing is, he went back far enough with Terry Bollea where he arranged for Matsuda to bring him in and break Terry's leg. He's so full of shit. He was so full of shit.
I mean, anything, man. Without his daddy, he'd have been nothing, like you said.
And it's so tragic that they had the same ending. It's so just awful.
Yeah, it is. It truthfully is.
It's terrible. But the thing is, you know, Mike's biggest claim to fame is that I know now, looking back all my years as a fan, his sound bites about Hogan and his sound bites about Jeff Jarrett on that same DVD, The Rise and Fall of WCW.
And on the Heat Seekers, he had a few jabs on me, I believe.
Well, he wasn't on that particular.
Wasn't he on that round table?
No, that was Michael Hayes.
Right.
I just watched it. Let me see.
Jim Ross.
JR was the moderator. JR. Who was next to
Eric?
Who was next to Michael? Hang on.
That's who I thought was Mike Graham.
Lawler. It was
Lawler. Lawler was on it.
It was Lawler. Lawler actually was very good. He didn't say a word.
Lawler's always like me, and Johnny Swinger, when we go places, is a big Lawler fan, and he's always shocked that. I mean, I spent the night at Lawler's house once, and I was like, "Are you?" And my girlfriend actually came and told me. I go, "Baby, until I hear it from Lawler, I'm not doing that." And Lawler came up and goes, "Yeah, you guys are more than welcome to." And I was like, "Okay."
Lawler's one of my favorite legends that doesn't need to be kind, and he's just a gem.
No, and he's one of the few. I don't even want to call him old timer because he's not to me. He's one of the few legends, is the word, that liked me, and like Jim Duggan likes me.
Yes,
and Lawler likes me. But besides naming those two guys, there's not a whole lot of names I can name that are legends that like Buff Bagwell, because he just was smart ass and wore his little top hat and did his little dance, and some guys liked it and some guys didn't. But I got in a fight with Test one night, first time I ever met him, and he actually brought up my top hat and said I stole it from Slash. And I go, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I said, "Dude, I don't even know." I said, "I know who Slash is, but if I did the math, I think I even had it before he had it." I said, "But for you to even think that," he goes, "I don't think it. I know it." And so all of a sudden, Lawler and Duggan are taking up for me. And I was going,
nice.
All right, And, Tess a few months later died, and I hate it.
So Andrew Martin Test was a bodyguard for Motley Crue, not Guns N' Roses, so he wouldn't know. Slash did have the hat in the 80s, so I'm not gonna shit on that part.
There you go. So I didn't know that.
Different hat. So, different hat. It's different. If you want to go back on who has a top hat gimmick, you're all Robin Abraham Lincoln. So sorry.
Right.
And you know what? He was in the business too. So there you
go. Yes.
Anyway, so I want to ask a couple things I wanted to get into, because we really kind of danced around it here, but I listened to a clip earlier today, and you were talking about because somebody asked me yesterday during my show where I announced you were going to be on today, what's the deal with Jim Ross? And I went, what are you talking about? So I went back and I did a Google search. Shame on me. So the story is, and I'm gonna since you haven't seen the thing that it was mentioned on, I'll go ahead and cliff notes. When Marc was with the WWF for that, about 45 seconds back in 2001, give or take a minute or two, he did not, for whatever reason, and Marc will tell why he wasn't there, but he did not go to a pair of house shows over a weekend, the weekend after the infamous Tacoma show from hell. But he told JR he was at TV the next day. So JR tells the story on the Legends thing that you had your mother call the office in Connecticut and say that her boy's not going to be at whatever live event towns it was, but you beat TV on Monday. Right. And JR on the podcast, stone cold face, says, "Thank you for calling Miss Bagwell. Please don't call her anymore. If your boy wants to call in sick from work, he needs to call it because he's a man, not a boy. Thank you. Click. Right. Have a good night." And then you went to TV the next day, allegedly, and got told the same thing.
Right.
So I want to hear from you, because this is, and again, you've been colorful in addressing this in the past, but I wanted to give you the forum. The floor is yours.
Yeah.
What really happened with Jim Ross? And you said it very, very poignantly on several podcasts. 3 people know the truth: yourself, Jim, and the Almighty. So there's no proving it, but please, the floor is yours.
Well, I got to back up a little bit so you get the whole story. And the whole story starts with Sugar Shane Helms.
Oh,
and it starts with us being at school. We had to go to school to learn the 20-foot ring instead of the 18-foot, which is a bunch of shit. But still, that's what they wanted us to say and wanted us to bitch about. Right. So I didn't, and I showed up and did my job and all that. And learned it. Right. And it was a little bit tough to get used to. It was a little different because they had ropes, real ropes, and ours were still cables.
Oh,
so you had 2 foot shorter and a cable going to send you off a lot faster.
Right.
If you didn't know that, you're leapfrog, you're going to land in front of the guy, or you're going to land, you're going to take off late or whatever. So it's definitely worth practicing over.
Of course.
And so one of the last days we were practicing, for whatever reason, Shane Helms was kind of hurt. And what we had done is we had like 11 or 12 guys they had hired. And out of that 11 or 12, Booker T, Buff Bagwell, and Dallas Page was kind of figured in as they had a spot.
Yeah.
We already had a contract and we had a spot. But your Sean Stasiaks, your Gendrax, your Hugh Morrises, your Chavo Guerreros, those, and because there was 12 guys they hired. And that out of those guys, Sugar Shane Helms, Billy Kidman, out of all those guys,
Stacey and Tori,
nobody, Chris Canyon. I'm trying to think. I keep remembering somebody because the last day we had a really great workout.
Right.
And we had guys in every corner. And what you did is after you did a spot or something or two, you just tag somebody in any corner you want to tag them in.
Right.
And that person would come in with a guy and he'd cut you off and tag that guy, hey, arm drag. And we just kept it was like a 20-man tag match. And we were calling spots out loud.
Of course.
So we wouldn't mess, because we were just practicing the ropes and the distance and tackles and getting up and all that. And it was a great workout. And Shane Helms wasn't in it. Well, after that whole great workout we had, everybody was sitting in the ring and I was standing on the floor and just kind of was resting on the apron.
Okay.
And I was involved too. I had my tights on and did a bunch of spots with the guys, and it was a great workout.
Right.
And somehow or another, guys started kind of jabbing each other a little bit. And somehow Shane got on me and he goes, at least I'm not a pillhead. Ooh. And I went, whoa. I said, that's awful strong. I said, from a guy that sat around and laid around all day. He said, I was hurt. I go, oh, I know. I said, you look really, really hurt, And I had no idea where he was hurt.
Right.
And and I said, you know what I can't wait for, Shane? I said, I can't wait for your first interview. And I went, hey, my name is Sugar Shane Helms, and I work for the WWF, and I'm just ready to go. I used to be with 3 Count, you may remember, but I'm Sugar Shane Helms. Oh my God, the boys just, whoa.
Yeah.
And then he just right over the top of it, he said, well, at least I ain't going bald.
Oh man.
And I said, you know what, Shane? I said, listen to me. And I'm right here, and he's just right here.
Right.
And he's like he's like on his butt with his elbows on the bottom rope.
Right.
And I said, bro, let me go this route with you. I said, we can just drop it where it's at. I said, or I can just beat your fucking brains out.
Right.
I said, either way you want to go with it.
Yeah.
And he just went to say a word that was going to be negative. And I went, whack, with just an open hand slap that rolled him all the way into the turnbuckle.
There you go.
I turn and go, what have you done? You've done it again. Way to go, idiot.
To your own self. Yeah.
To my own self. I'm walking off.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, brother, kaboom.
Right.
I get hit in the head.
Oh,
what had happened that I didn't know is underneath his T-shirt, he had an ace bandage on. He had hurt his ribs. And WWF, which is smart, but I've never seen it, the WWF, which is what it was called back then, at that stage, would get would get water bottles and freeze them for injuries. So he had an ice bottle, which is a brick, under an ace bandage, icing his ribs. As soon as I turn my back like a gun, he just pulls his shirt out, pulls out a brick, and as I'm walking off, wham, from behind in the back of the head.
Well, kill a guy.
I have no idea how I didn't go down.
Right?
Because by the way, Shane Helms is a badass. And I didn't know that either. So wham, I get hit like a ton of bricks. And I do not know how I did not fall or get knocked out because it was that hard. I definitely had a concussion of some kind.
Oh yeah.
And there is blood everywhere. And here comes Johnny Ace, Fit Finley, because that's who was running the school.
Right.
And that Cuban guy they were like a Cuban tag team for WCW on WCW Saturday Night. He was one of the agents somehow. So those three guys come rushing over and they go, what happened? What happened? And I'm looking at 9 puppy dog faces.
Oh yeah.
Going, don't tell. Don't do it. Don't do it. It was just, that's what their faces were saying.
Right.
And I said, I slipped and fell. And Johnny Ace saw them. They knew something was not quite right, but they were like, you slipped and fell? I said, yeah, dude, I got out of the ring and I slipped and fell. And so as those guys went away, we all started kind of after, I go to the bathroom and Shane now is in the bathroom holding a towel on my head. And these are the things we don't talk about. Crying, holding the towel on my head because he has hit a guy that everybody knows has got a job.
And busted him wide open.
Buck Bagwell's going to have a job, right?
Oh, yeah.
We all think.
Well, you should.
But he's holding the towel on my head, and I try to get a ball cap on my head, and Marc Jindrak, he's the guy that helped me.
Right.
Whoever had that Marriott room and cleaned it up thought somebody died, because imagine having a head bleed.
Yep.
And you're trying to get your bags and shit packed after being there 7 days. So, long story short,
right.
Tacoma comes up. I don't call them. Right. I go see my own doctor.
Yep.
They got to cauterize my head, and it took 25 stitches.
Jesus.
And they had to cauterize it.
Yeah.
I had to get a Sharpie where they cut my hair for that match in Tacoma. The only match I had. Sharpie the hair where it wasn't at. And I never told anybody of Power. I didn't use their doctor. Because I didn't want to cause no trouble. Right. I just wanted to get through it. So when I wrestled that match, I probably had a concussion, and I wrestled Booker T with 25 stitches in my head. Good match, bad match, whatever. It was. I've watched it over 1,000 times. I think it was way better than people said, but it wasn't no barn burner either.
It wasn't.
Go back and look at all the great matches. Yeah. Go back and look at all the great matches me and Booker had. We never missed a step. I mean, through all the Scotty Riggses, American Males, all that shit.
Harlem, all that shit. Exactly.
I mean, there's tons of matches, and me and Booker always had great spots and stuff.
Didn't Harlem Heat beat you guys for one of their reigns?
Oh yeah, and we beat them. Me and Scotty Riggs beat them for one of the titles.
Oh, there you go.
And so it's just great matches all over. But long story short, that match happened. So then we go to at the beginning of that night in Tacoma, though, and I show up to the building.
Right.
The Hardy Boys and Shane Helms walking down the hall. And remember, we've all made up as buddies, and we're all going to try to keep it quiet.
Right.
And I go, hey, guys. And none of the three wave back at me.
Damn it.
So I walk straight to Johnny Ace, and I tell Johnny Ace the whole story. I go, brother, I need you for a minute. So I tell him the whole story, tell him exactly what happened, all that. And he says, so he gets us all together, makes us all shake hands and all that.
Right.
After that, me and Booker find out we're main event in Tacoma. And guess what the next week is?
Atlanta, Georgia. WCW.
Why in the fuck would you make the first match of the invasion 5,000 miles away from the guy that you bought the company from. But they did it. So me and Booker are backstage talking like this. Why are we main event? Second of all, why are we not waiting a week and just do this in Atlanta?
Man.
So we walk out, we get booed. I mean, everything's against us. We have a shitty match. It just wasn't a good night. Everybody, Stacey Keeper got booed.
And you told me that they told you at the curtain, don't do the buff thing. Don't look at the camera.
As soon as my music came on, they told me, do not look in the camera. And I looked at Shane McMahon. I go, Shane, that's all I do. I said, that's all. I said, I go find the camera. I look into it and I pose and I talk into the camera and it's funny. He says, we don't do that. And my music is playing and I'm almost late because of the pyro. And he goes, you can't look in the camera. So anybody that wants to watch that match back, I want you to compare it to my normal Buff Bagwell entrances. It's I'm coming down the aisle, pointing at people that I'm not even sure who I'm pointing at.
Right.
Just to try to keep away from the camera. The camera's coming at me and I'm going, trying not to look into the camera the best I can because it's all right here and I want it so bad to go, here I am. I finally made it. The WWE. I mean, I could have had a blast with it, but no, don't do it. They tell me as my music's playing.
God.
Come on, man. I mean, there's just so many things that's adding up here. So
I remember
you
Austin going, what the fuck?
Yeah. And then all that pressure's on us. And then we have a shitty match. Go figure. And then, believe it or not, me and Booker start to have words backstage.
Right.
And they stop us. Pat Patterson does the main event matches on WWF.
At the time. Right.
And Johnny Ace did the matches at WCW. Yeah. So they actually blamed each other. They said, you know what? Guys, stop. Don't get in a fight over this. It's our fault.
Right.
I thought Johnny told y'all I finished because nobody talked to us. Steve Austin came to us and said, during your comeback, Buff, we're going to hit the ring. You help us beat up Booker. We're going to throw him out of the ring. Throw him out of the back of the building, and we're going to throw you out of the back of the building too. Right. Now, God in my hands just spoke to us, which his name is Stunning Steve Austin.
Right.
That's how I remember him. But Stone Cold Steve Austin told us what to do, and that's what we were going to do. But Johnny Ace didn't, and Pat Patterson didn't. So we didn't have a finish for the match from a legal, per agent from our companies. And so we just did what Stone Cold said to do. And they kind of got us out of it by saying they should have done it. Well, go figure. I'm sitting at home by myself one day. Like that was on Monday. So this would have been like Wednesday.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, damn, we got, so we got Atlanta this week. So we'll make up everything. We'll fix everything there, and get it all right, and everything. So he calls, phone rings, Jim Ross. I said, hey, Jim, what's going on, man? He goes, not much. He goes, listen, we want you to take off these next couple of house shows, and we want you to rest your head because we got big plans for you on Monday. And keep in mind, that sounds as honest as I've been to everybody. That sounds like great. I didn't use their doctor. I paid my own money for my own doctor. I didn't complain to them about my head. I could have made a big stink about that, but I didn't. It was no big deal. Right. I slapped him. He hit me back. I get my head fixed. I wrestle. Big deal.
Right.
So I said, hey man, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I really didn't think nothing about it at all.
Right.
So all of a sudden, here comes, I'm excited. I call my dad and go, hey, I'm off the next 2 shows and they're going to let me, keep in mind, why would I call and cancel 2 drives that I'm going to drive back to my house and rest?
Yeah,
you never do that. If you're going to call in a cancellation, you're going to call in something hard. Yeah. These are 2 drives, and you drive back to your house. Those are shots you dream of.
Yeah, at least at least 100 miles before you call in. Yeah, at least.
Oh, so they had this whole thing planned, but once again, there's nobody at my house for whatever reason.
Right.
There's nobody on the phone except me and Jim, and I'm doing what Jim Ross told me to do, and that is take the 2 shots off.
Right.
And we'll see you Monday. And we got big plans for you. So I've fallen for the bait, and I'm excited. I'm excited, dude. I can't wait for Monday.
Yep.
Well, I show up on Monday, and it's about 3:00, and I don't catch any kind of bad vibes or anything.
All right.
And all of a sudden they go, hey, they need you in so-and-so's room. I was okay. So I walk in, and it's Jim Ross, Johnny Ace, and Vince. And I said, and it still don't hit me. It don't hit me because I've never had a job except wrestling.
Yeah.
I got into wrestling at 18. So I've never had a job. So I've never been fired either. So I see most people that would see this in the wrestling business would automatically know, oh my God, I'm getting fired. But I really don't. I sit down like, hey guys, what's going on? And now I'm starting to see their face, and I go, oh my God, I'm getting fired. So they start kind of slow talking, and I raise my hand, and I go, and Vince goes, you ain't got to raise your hand, Buff. And I go, well, I feel like I need to raise it. I said, am I getting fired? And bro, without any hesitation, they said, no, you're getting released. And I raised my hand again. And Vince goes, Buff, I said you ain't got to raise your hand. I said, I just feel like it's proper. I go, what is the difference of released and fired?
Right.
And without a pause, they had an answer for that. They go, if we release you, we don't have to redo your contract. We'll just bring you back in 3 months after everything's cooled down a little bit. They go, if we fire you, we got to redo your contract and all that. And so I knew that wasn't true.
Right.
But I had to act like it was.
Of course.
And I said, instantly, start smiling, start shaking hands.
Yes.
It's over.
Play the game.
I got up, smiling, thanking them, shaking hands. And I asked the last professional question, which was, what do I do with my bags? If I start going the other way with my bags, every wrestler's going to go, hey, Buff, where are you going?
Right.
Every wrestler that sees you going that way
knows.
Nobody's going that way. Everybody's coming this way with their bags. So, I mean, as fast as I could walk with them bags, I was walking out that fucking door, and I was getting, Buff, where are you going? Where are you?
And you're in Georgia. You're in your backyard. You're in the company's backyard.
I got to call my family that's in the audience and tell them to come home because it's over.
Jesus.
And my dad just goes, what do you mean it's over? I said,
it's over.
I'm home.
I'm at home waiting for y'all.
Yeah. I said, so come on home.
Oh.
And the last person I saw, believe it or not, was Woman and Chris Benoit.
No shit.
Where did Jesus Christ?
Oh my goodness.
Sleep tonight. And I was trying to hold back from crying until I got in my car.
Oh man.
And as soon as I saw Chris, he goes, where the fuck are you going? And I said, dude, I just got fired.
Oh my
and he went, what? And so he tried to talk me into coming back in. And I said, Chris, you don't understand. I just went through a 45-minute ordeal of released and fired. And I said, it's over, bro. I said, they told me to call him back in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I said, so I'm going to do it. So to finish the Jim Ross story,
right?
I wait 4 weeks when they said 3.
Right.
just so to make sure there was no heat.
Right.
I call up Jim Ross and I go, "Hey, Jim." And he went, a big deep breath. And I went,
"Oh, man."
Before he spoke, I said, "Jim, I'm just calling you back because you guys told me to call you back."
Right.
And I didn't want to get heat for not calling you back when y'all told me to call you back.
Of course.
And he goes, "We don't got anything for you right now. Marc, call me Marc instead of Buff." And I went, "Oh boy, that's not good." And I said, "So anyway, keep in mind, you haven't heard me say anything about the mother thing yet."
Right.
Because
right.
I haven't heard anything about the mother thing yet.
Yeah.
The mother thing has not come out yet.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, here's Buff Bagwell that they fired in one day. Well, why would they do that? And somehow or another, the mother thing caught on, and buddy, everybody believed it. Everybody. It took off like, it was like the most unbelievable thing they could come up with that would stick like glue, and it did, bro. They believed it, and you know what? They believed it for so long, and I answered that question for so many times that I finally go, you know what? Let's pretend like my mother did do it.
Right.
I said, let's pretend like my mother is completely fucking lying to me.
Right.
She backdoored me.
Yeah.
She hates my guts.
Of course.
And she wants to bury her son and call Jim Ross, which she don't even have his number, but she's going to find his number and she's going to call him up and bury her son by saying he's not coming after wrestling with 25 stitches and a concussion on live TV in Tacoma.
Yeah.
After 3 days rest, he's not going to come to 2 house shows.
Right.
So I said, let's just say that she did do it. I said, do you fire Buff Bagwell over that?
Yeah.
Why not pull Buff Bagwell to the side and say, hey, bro, tell your fucking mother not to call our fucking, and Buff Bagwell now, and then let me say, oh my God, it's my mother called? Right. And let me go, Mom, what the fuck are you doing? I'm walking on eggshells over here to keep a job. So my point is, I quit defending her and started acting like, let's just say the bitch did it.
Right.
Let's say she lost her mind and did it.
Yeah.
Do you fire Buff Bagwell over that?
Yeah. Well, do you fire Marc Bagwell because his mommy told on him? What the
Exactly. So what pissed me off was that Jim Ross lied to me. And to be totally honest with you, it cost me millions of dollars.
Yes.
Now, his defense, the only problem with his defense is the Heat Seeker CD.
Right.
Without the Heat Seeker CD, Jim Ross's answer works. And that is, I was just doing my job. I like Marc Bagwell.
Right.
Well, I need you people that have been told that and believe that to go out or look up
WWE Network,
Heat Seeker Network, Heat Seeker video DVD, and hear how Jim Ross and the panel talks about Marc Bagwell. They're not my friends, and they don't like me very much.
Yeah,
it was more fucking like heat, and they were mad at me. And came up with this ordeal, but it stuck like glue and it worked.
Yeah. The problem is, and I've said this many times over the years since the end of the war, history is written by the victors, and narratives are spun dangerously. Yeah. On that panel, you have Mick Foley indifferent. If Mick Foley says something bad about you, if he has a bad word about you, it's your damn fault. Mick Foley is heart of gold.
Yes.
Michael
Hayes.
We
go so far. We go handsome stranger, Cactus Jack days, brother.
Yeah.
We go way back.
Like you were getting your start when Cactus was getting that big Sting push, right? So.
Oh yeah.
I'm like right there. Michael Hayes it depends what day you encounter him, whether he's a political jackass or a beautiful human being. Honest to God.
Right.
Lawler, again, we talk about Lawler, beautiful person, and then you got Eric. Eric, who spends his days with Conrad Thompson talking about your calf implants.
Yes, I mean, just drilled me, dude.
Oh God. Anyway, I don't want to get because I really like Eric and I don't want to get wound up on those two. But and then you got Jim Ross, who is this usually bastion of good and everything in the business, and he's the greatest announcer of all time, and he's been picked so many times by Vince, and Eric Bischoff jobbed him out and all this shit. And it's like, well, Jim's got a dark side. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, he drilled me, bro. He threw my mom under the bus and
ran her over. No fucking reason.
Yeah, dude. And like I said, the bad part is I had no witnesses. It's Jim Ross, me, and God, brother. That's it. Yeah. And there is no other witnesses. So who are you going to believe? They believed him. So that's why I reversed it and started going, let's say the old crazy bitch lost her mind and called Jim Ross.
Yeah. And what's so dumb is
you really fired?
Yeah. What's so dumb is I haven't talked to you about this off air. Your wife's name was also Judy at the time.
Yes.
So it could have been your
Bagwell.
wife going, hey, he's hurt. He's not coming to work. Why would you have your wife or your mother call the office? You're not so concussed you can't pick up the phone and go, man, my head hurts like a motherfucker. I need to stay home.
Yes. Keep in mind, I've just wrestled a main event and got through it. So I get 2 or 3 days rest. It was the farthest thing from my mind. I was already planning the road trip and who was going to go with me and who was going to drive with, who was I going to drive with. And because I'm with a new company now. So pretty much I was going to be going by myself or take my wife with me or whatever and, or friend or whatever. And because I didn't have any friends up there anymore, I found out that pretty quick. And, and then all of a sudden you get this call. I mean, what am I going to do? Oh, no, Jim, no, I'm going to be there. I mean, he was definite on what his decision was.
Right.
And I do remember going, I mean, are you sure, Jim? I mean, I'm fine, dude. My head's fine. I'm good.
No, you're not.
And he actually used the big plans again when I said that for Monday. Yeah. And the big plan was
booting the ass.
kicking the ass and fire me in my hometown.
Here's your watch.
So, it was rough.
So, okay. I can't even it's because I
can't either, dude. It's really fucked up.
The thing is, between knowing you as long as I know, I've talked to your ex-wife so many times. At the time we had sweet peach lady, I've talked to your mom on the phone.
Yes.
I've talked to Jim Ross. Well, I can't fathom this cycle of hell that was created in this narrative. It blows my mind. Anyway,
me too.
We have a wonderful human being himself waiting in the green room who's wanting to talk to you for the better part of goddamn 2 hours. Holy balls. He is my head statistician for my channel. He is the host of our sports bar show we do on. Well, this week is Wednesday because the NFL can't figure out what the fuck to do with themselves this week. So, Statboy Mike, come on in, my friend. I appreciate your patience and I appreciate you.
Hey, what's
thanking all the super chats. Quick backstory: Mikey was with me the day you were out here at the City of Industry appearance.
Okay, he looks familiar. He looks familiar.
I sent Jeff the picture. I had what I called the caterpillar back then. Didn't have the full beard. And as Jeff stated, I wore the hideous WCW WWE shirt. And it was for the backstory, I mean, it was you, it was Lex, Sheik was there.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. And in fact, as Iron Sheik was coming in, I was sitting on a bench just minding my business. Jeff had business with you. And as soon as he came around, I shot up and I stood up.
Right.
And he gave me this look and he's like, he almost wanted to say, like, why are you standing up for me?
Right.
And I'm like, you're the Iron Sheik.
You're the Iron Sheik, brother.
That's why.
Sheik, man.
and
then you were, I think, taking a break from signing. And I was kind of hesitant to talk to you because, and this will be in the question I ask. It's, you're there to do a job. You're there to sign autographs for the fans. I didn't have any money to officially buy an autograph or a picture, and I'm like, can we get a quick picture, Marcus? And you're like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then we took the picture. So,
there it is, brother.
And there it is right there. That was the quick pic of you and me back in
the
day.
And really quick, Vince had the better part of half a year because he knew he was going to do the acquisition. Who the hell in his marketing department came up with that god-awful fucking logo? Good grief. Anyway.
That is a little rough, isn't it?
What's so funny is I bought it because I was one of the idiots in November going, I hope the Alliance wins.
I love it.
We lost Mikey. He'll be back in a second. He's having device issues. Anyway, when the Survivor Series comes up, I'm rooting for Team WCW. I'm like, okay, so Team WCW is going to beat WWF at the pay-per-view. Okay, Jeff, you're marking out a little too much today.
You know what kills me about, back on Eric for a minute, what kills me about Eric is I really consider us like friends. And then I got a guy named Eric Zink that anytime, he's the one that called me about disco, and I could actually call him right now and just ask him what this disco thing was about, and he would know. Oh, okay. But it's not really even worth it. But still, it was something that I was mad. I told you. I said I was more upset than mad. Right. And I said, I'm just upset that as a friend you do that. Well, same thing with Eric. Me and Eric, I mean, dude, he hauled our Harleys around. Yeah. And we were friends, bro. Yeah. We were friends. And then when you hear him talk, you can always tell Conrad's drilling me, and Eric's always kind of pulling back a little. Right. Still saying some of this stuff, but this calf implant thing. Oh my God. He fucking, it was no, there was absolutely no, there was no fun. I mean, it was just drill me, dude. I mean, what's so funny is he's always very quick when he talks about like guys that, I mean, because you were there before he was. I mean, really. Yes. He's always quick to say he was just a magazine guy when I was there. He was like, when I came in, I was C-Squad announcer. I couldn't even have towel time with fucking Jim Ross, let alone Marcus Alexander Bagwell, right? So but once I got my got elevated or whatever, I got along with Marc. I'm saying, listen, like, you get along with him, you have nothing good to say. Why are you picking on his cats? Like, why? Yes. Why is this a thing? It's called 83 weeks, which that emphasizes we're talking about how we beat them for 83 weeks, right? Right. What the fuck does my calf implants come into that? Marc Bagwell's calf muscles helped us defeat Vince for 83 weeks. And guess what my calf implants were? In 1993. Nowhere near the 83 weeks. In 1993. So this is not even in. Think about this. I'm just thinking about this. Yeah. This is not even in the 83 weeks. And they make it part of a show called 83 weeks. In slight defense of that, I'm not going to take up for him. No, please tell me how you see that. What they do is they did it with all the shows that he's done now. Because originally Eric had his own thing. He was doing his own show with his own people, whatever. It was Bischoff. Right. So basically, what Conrad has done, and it's actually pretty, it's actually pretty cool marketing. He's a freaking mortgage guy. He knows marketing, right? So he's good. So 83 Weeks is the name of the show because that's what Eric's most famous for. But he also talks about AWA. I thought this was a special segment. Oh, no. He's been running for a while. No. I didn't know that's really what he's main. I got you. Now I understand. Yeah, because like W Weeks where he talks about his WWE Raw General Manager. Anybody that was in that 83 Weeks can be talked about. Exactly. And because that's when Eric was the most. That was his claim to fame and all that. Exactly. I understand. Yeah, right. Same thing with Shivani. Shivani wasn't in the WWF, but they do What Happened When, and they do callbacks of old pay-per-views, including WWF. I mean, dude, they got into shaving backs and shaving necks, and and it's fucking eyebrows, and I wonder if he was worried about that when the fucking ratings were doing sixes. Right, and me and Scotty were on top. I mean, I wonder if he was worried about that.
I was going to say, when he was sitting there parking his Harley in the middle of the ring with a king crown on, he wasn't worried about nobody's shaved back
he wanted my goatee to be straight. Right. And he needed my eyebrows to be plugged for that. He wanted my goatee to be straight, for fuck's sake. Like, seriously. Yeah, for that 83 weeks, he needed guys to fucking be manscaping a little bit.
So, the other biggest thing, the first metrosexual wrestling, I'm like, bullshit!
Yeah. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, don't get me wrong now. I do remember having to hide to shave backs. Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Right. And now listen though, here's the problem. Everybody was doing that. Everybody had their partner, and they'd go off to the side somewhere, and they would shave each other's backs. Right. And that got to be where we were standing in line 6 rows deep, shaving each other's backs and turning around after it. Yes, because we was on the road, and we had to get our backs shaved, and so I mean, everybody in the room had to get their back shaved. So why am I the one getting in trouble for being a metrosexual? I mean, yeah, I'm a metrosexual, but who the fuck is it that ever made it? When your name's Buff Bagwell, it kind of be Buff. Yeah, you better show up. You better show up as Buff Bagwell, or that name don't carry, bro. Right. But like I said, he was all for it. We were great friends. So once again, kind of like disco, it hurts my feelings a little bit. I mean, it really did. When I heard it, I was like, wow. I mean, I can see Conrad saying it. Right. But up until the calf thing. Yeah. Every time I heard my buddy call me and tell me they were dogging me, and I would listen to it, I heard Eric always kind of backpedaling. Right. Kind of backpedaling. Yeah. And Conrad was trying to get it out of him, and Eric would, well, kind of, yeah. And Eric was doing what I would do, which is answer your buddy that you got a show with, but right. Let's don't bury my buddy named Buff too, Right. So and on this one, bro, they went supplements and how 10 much minutes. 10 minutes. Yeah, oh, dude. Yes, I didn't time it, but is that how long it was?
Right around there, yeah.
Oh my God, dude. It was, I mean, when I listened to it, I mean, my first instinct, of course, was to pick the phone up and call him and go, are you fucking kidding me? Right. I mean, really, bro? Yeah, seriously. I mean, do you remember high-fiving me and going on Harley rides and paying me the money you paid me and me being who I was supposed to be for you, for the show, to dedicate my life to the show, to make us all look good for this 83 fucking weeks? I said, I feel like I was a pretty big part of that 83 weeks. Exactly. As a matter of fact, I know I was a big part of the 83 weeks. Yep. I mean, when your fucking face is on a Capital One credit card, you played a pretty big part in the 83 weeks. Exactly. So, just know what you're talking about. So it really is the first time Eric really has drilled me. So it kind of caught me off guard, and it kind of hurt my feelings, because I've seen Eric. God, I've worked with him like at the same signing table a couple of times. Yeah. And just hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? And good to see you, and all that. So this one just really caught me off guard, and especially it being so old. It's just so old, and who fucking cares? Right. I mean, it's no different than somebody dyeing their hair. It's just you're trying to make yourself look better. I mean, I watched Rick Rude for years do the knee pad down in his boot, so it looked like he had calves. Right. Did you ever watch Rude put his boots on? Oh yeah. He had the real tall boots, and he'd wear his knee pads kind of low. That way, when he tied his boots, it looked like he had calves, and it made his body a lot more proportionate. Because I wanted to do that too, but them dumbasses even got into being so deep. They were like, well, that's why he wore those other boots. I wore the other fucking boots because it was different, you two fucking idiots. They've never been different a day in their fucking life.
Exactly.
And that's why they're just they're two fucking sheeps. They just follow the herd. Conrad Thompson and Eric Bischoff just follow the fucking herd. That's all they are. Is a couple of fucking followers, and that's all they'll ever be. Conrad Thompson is a fat piece of fucking shit.
Here we go. Oh my God.
And I can't stand that motherfucker. I hope he dies of a fucking major heart attack.
Oh, Jesus.
As fat as he is, there's no way he's going to dodge COVID. If he watches anything about fat people, he's definitely next for COVID. And I hope he fucking gets it. And I hope he fucking dies from it. Because
you better put a disclaimer up at this point.
He is a zit. He is a zit on the fucking ass of professional wrestling. And he's trying to drag Eric Bischoff into that. I would never dog Eric that bad because I love Eric Bischoff. But I am amazed that Conrad was able to get him to talk that bad about me on the air, as tight as me and Eric were. Yeah. But just remember, Eric, there's a lot of shit that we both know about each other.
Yeah.
And you know, one of us are out there talking about it, one of us ain't. So
right.
That's all right, you know, but we can talk about it if you want to.
Well,
you know.
Before you do that, Conrad, if you need me to get my refund for the subscription, let me know now. I'll get that taken care of because he actually charged me this morning, so I can wait another month and take care of that.
Let me say that is one of the most epic rants I've ever heard, right. And I know a lot about ranting here.
Yes,
Thank you.
So before I pass it back to Mikey and let him ask his questions, let me just say this about Conrad, because I honestly don't have my own issue with Conrad personally. Never met the guy. We've had good interactions as far as doing business, as far as, you know, me subscribing and interacting with him. But I will say this, for him to have his ass chapped over Marc Bagwell not being at his event for whatever reason, here's the thing with Conrad Thompson. He's a Flair-in-law. You're set for life, dude. Okay? Wrestling life, you're set for life. Okay. Mikey, go ahead. Go ahead, Mikey.
Okay. Earlier in the broadcast here, someone asked
6 hours ago or so.
Really. Somebody asked about why you didn't have a single run.
I wanted to get back on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, you actually did. You worked with Austin for the TV title.
And if you remember, it was a draw. It came down to a draw, and that was a big deal for me because it went down to a time limit draw, which was no winner. And that was a big push for the rookie, Marcus Alexander.
Stunning Steve Austin, who was the shit even then.
Steve Austin was great. You know, he was one of the best workers we had.
Do you know who I liked you working with for the TV title? Regal. Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
Regal had a great match. It was a Clash or whatever it was. That was a damn good match.
Yeah, Regal was a great hand, and he was a great hand. He didn't like losing. Like he says, a lot of guys had egos and stuff, but he really did put that to the side, and he did everything.
Yep. And then also you tried to go for the U.S. title as well, but you got jobbed out to Ming, I believe it was, in the first round.
Well,
it's
fucking Hakeem.
Ming and Barbarian were the two biggest guys that were really big on that big man thing.
Right.
You know how back in the old days you had to do the tackle, no sell, no sell, and then hit the ropes and you do the big tackle and he goes down. You know, that's called a big man match. And I love Barbarian, I love Ming to death, but they really, really stuck to that, man. So they felt like if they were bigger than you, but here's where we couldn't get them to understand. You can do that through the match, but when it comes to that hot tag, you have got to bump for the baby face.
Right.
You have got to fucking fly around for that baby face. So you can't do the clothesline, stagger in the ropes and come back out because the crowd's going to be, They want to see a fucking comeback and use the big man bump on the comeback.
Right.
And they just really never did that. And so they were, and plus that, Ming was real big, so nice and real big with the company and been there a long time. And, so, I understood. I mean, I understood the situation, but, they always give me you're so young, you're going to be fine. And you'll be fine when we finally, give you a push. And they were right. Me getting beat all those times didn't matter because we had, I was so young, and then when NWO happened, it was all over.
I mean, honestly, the only reason Ming really got revitalized push wise is because the NWO fizzled out in '99.
Yes, that's right.
Right. So, but here's my thing. The entire Conrad network agrees to this every single week that he gets brought up. If the business was a shoot, Haku would be the world champion until the day he died.
Absolutely. Or the Barbarian.
Nobody would dare to screw with them, let alone try.
No, that's always been told. Way.
Dude, Haku, like the freaking Tongan death grip, like no.
I think what really bothers me the most about Conrad is.
Oh no! Here we go. Shit, I'm sorry.
It's just. Has he ever even been in a wrestling ring?
Well, no.
Probably not.
I mean, really, has he?
The thing that bothers me about Conrad is he's got no reason to be such a poop. None.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, let's say that he's been in the ring and he's a badass and all that. What is it?
From Eric Zink, I asked him about disco and what he said about you recently. And Eric Zink said, I can't remember, and Disco's team has taken it off of the website. Conrad and Eric Bischoff have been the ones in the last 3 weeks putting up shoot stuff on Marc.
Yeah, okay, yes, yeah. That's what we're doing. He couldn't remember the disco thing either, but yeah, thanks, babe. The last
thank you.
Thank you. I'm surprised he can't remember, but God, it was pretty deep what Disco said. Like I said, not enough for me to call him. But really, has Conrad ever hit the road?
No, the thing is, Conrad, okay, I don't know. I've never met Conrad. My knowledge of the story of Conrad Thompson is he, like I said, was a mortgage broker and a fan, like you, like me, like everybody. And he, I think his first podcast, I could be wrong, was with Bruce Pritchard. And then
Bruce talked pretty good about me on one of his.
Bruce
he took over me a little bit.
Yeah, Bruce very rarely shits on you. If I haven't heard him do it. So anyway, so at one point, Rick had gotten he was doing a podcast with somebody else. I forget who it was now. Couldn't tell you off the top of my head. If you put a gun in my head, I'm dead. It's over. I was working at Wally World in the blue shirts 4 years ago, and I picked up on Rick's new show, the Ric Flair Show, co-hosted by Conrad Thompson. So he met Rick at, I forget what it was. And they became friends, like legit friends, because Flair was going through all the health shit. He was having a rough time because his realization that it was really over, like he was done, like hit him like a truck. And we all know the story with Rick now. Hard on the sleeve, he gets up in his own head. So Conrad kind of nursed him through that, I guess, is what I've been told. So when he got, when he got enough notoriety, he got the show with Tony. And Tony, at the time, was not back with and the spot, not back with wrestling yet. He was still doing the minor league baseball. So he had an axe to grind. He was bitter critter Tony. So he would come on there and rip into Vince every week and doing the podcasts, because that's what if you're out of the business, you rip on Vince. That it's part of the gimmick.
Sure.
So over the course of time, it went from Eric, Conrad had Bruce, and then he had Tony, and then he had and then he got hooked up with Eric doing his sequel podcast, and then he got JR because JR was not with WWE anymore, and then now he has Arn on Tuesdays, so he has a whole week of stuff. Then now it's branched off to subscription, where he's got like bonus, like if you're a Patreon, this whole thing. I don't understand why you need to be bitter toward anybody when you've got a Hall of Fame circle of people making you money on the side, hand over fist.
Yeah.
You've got those 5 people I mentioned. You've got Medusa in your circle of friends every other weekend doing a shoot thing. You've got Mike Chioda now. You've got all these people, and you feel the need because you feel your side of it is he jobbed you to find a way to make to work buff into your show every week.
Right. I just wonder if Eric remembers, standing up in front of the whole company and going, see, when me and Scotty started doing all the funny shit with the wheelchairs and all that, and the McGuire stuff and all that, that was shit we thought of, not the writers. We thought of that shit. So one day, Eric goes up in front of the whole company and goes, listen, obviously everybody else were trying to do their own funny stuff.
Of course.
And it wasn't quite so funny, and it wasn't as good as me and Scotty's.
Of course.
So Eric goes, listen, you've got to get your stuff okayed through your agent. And he absolutely said in front of the whole company, except Buff and Scotty. I tried to hide under the floor because everybody was like,
heat seekers.
Yeah, the heat seekers. Here we come again. I went, Eric, fuck, man. Why you just dumped a ton of heat on us here? But it didn't matter because we kept doing our shit, and Scotty is going to obviously keep doing the shit. And we just kept coming up with top stuff, We just,
the thing that worked with you and Scotty is that Scotty's fucking crazy, and you were trying to keep him crazy, and it was legit.
Yes,
it was. So it was. All right,
straight up legit.
Mikey, please. There you go. I'm sorry. I never.
Okay, it's all good. I'm loving all the stories. Marcus, my question is this: when you were under contract with WWE and WCW and part of TNA, was there ever a time where you were at an autograph signing and things would get like a little too crazy, like people would, come up and start asking things that were like inappropriate, or they would like want to take you out to dinner or stuff like that? Are there like rules in your contracts that say you can be polite to a fan, but you can't go over the top?
To answer your question, that's never happened to me, but no, it's not in our contracts or nothing like that. The wildest thing I can tell you that's ever happened at a signing for me was one time there was like 4,000 people that showed up. And this is back when we were really busy doing different things, commercials and TV and all that stuff was constantly going on. And I really, 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 really did have a flight to catch.
Of course.
Okay. And there's 2,000 people that are in line that are not going to be able to meet me. Now, Ric Flair, no offense, he gets up, he walks out the back door, catches his flight. Because that's just a job.
He's Ric Flair.
So let me tell you what Marc Bagwell does. Marc Bagwell steps up, grabs the microphone and goes, I haven't got time to sign anything, but I've got time to at least shake your hand. If you guys will keep the line moving, I'll shake everybody's hand.
See?
And so I was able to at least shake, and don't get me wrong, there was a few that tried to get me to sign something when they got there, and I would just have to blow them off to keep the line moving.
Yep.
But when I left there, every person got to at least shake my hand.
Nice.
And so that's the wildest story I could tell you that shows you that it's totally in your hands. I could have got up, left.
Yeah.
And you never win those you usually don't ever win those kind of things, but I won that one.
Yeah.
Like when you're at
the reason I brought that up was when I was really into wrestling, we would go to these signings and there'd be these tons of rules. Like, you can only get one thing signed. You can only take one picture. You can only literally talk to the person for like 30 seconds, and then you have to get pushed away. Right. And you know, to
be honest with you, I didn't know that kind of stuff. And when you come to my table at any kind of signing, I'm in front of my table.
Right.
I get up and I'm standing up in front of my table. That way I can hug, touch, shake, talk, anything that fan wants to do, and I do it. Where everybody else is behind their table, you know, kind of hiding, and I'm in front of mine, you know, going, hey, here I am, let's do it. Let's have fun, you know.
The one out here, we went both to. Like Marc had to, like, the Gemini guy had to physically tell Marc, you need to sit down.
Yeah.
Because Marc was like, fuck you. No, but like, to Marc's credit, he was a good little soldier. He sat down. But like for the first few minutes, Marc was doing the Marc thing, and the guy's like, what are you doing? Like I said, it almost became a thing. It would have been a thing.
It would have been.
But Mikey, the reason I say it would have been the contracts, I'll tell you why. Two answers. Owen Hart, Mick Foley. They stayed at fans' houses all across the country during their runs. They made friends. Yes. They made friends. It's like, if it was in their contract, that would never have happened. Like, there was no way. Plus, Owen Hart was crazy anyway, and so was Mick Foley. So, you know, I mean, they do it anyway. But yeah, if it was in their contract, it would have been a thing.
A lot of us really did treat the fans, I mean, different and special, and like one of us, I mean, like, I've spent the night with promoters, bro, you know, and slept on the floor, just to be with them and just to hang with them, and they just were in awe of it, you know, and just had a blast with it. That Buff Bagwell was at their house, you know, and
it's just, you know. Yeah, we had some local wrestlers stay at our place like a few times when we were living together, Mikey and I.
Yeah.
But the greatest thing ever, besides the people staying over, I don't know if you're familiar with the name Adam Pearce, Marc. He was the NWA champion for a good run.
Yes.
He had to park so far away from the venue one night. We had to drive him to his car, and I'm gonna say the world champion's in my car. World champion is in my car.
Yeah, he tried not to mark out.
Let me tell you the difference. If it was the world champion, my car would have been parked about that far away from the fucking door I walked in.
Right.
I don't care where it was. I don't care what car I blocked in.
Yeah.
I ain't walking but about that far, especially if I'm the fucking champion.
Right.
and bringing up Adam Pearce, I actually sent him a tweet about this. I'm like, Adam, is it too much if a guest wants to do something nice for the wrestler in return? I mean, if I'm going to pay, you know, $50, $75 to meet you, and I get my autograph, and then later on down the line I see you and I'm like, hey, do you want to go get something to eat? Do you want a cup of coffee? Do you want something to drink? Can I buy you a beer? Is that too much?
Oh, absolutely not. And that's why I always, anytime you see me work a gimmick table, it's so different, and it's so just giving. And I mean, right now there's something up on the board from Catherine Faith that says Marc is a gentleman. That is very cool. And you get up and be so polite. It's nearly unheard of that a lot of that at events. And it's true. It is unheard of. But that's just me. It's just, I mean, you know, the Southern raising, the way my mom raised me, whatever it may be, I just never could have like a crippled kid roll up, you know, and me not instantly get out of my chair, walk around to him, you know, and put the belt in his lap and put the top hat on his head and get a photo, and whatever photo they want. Well, that photo wasn't good. Well, then take another one. Make sure you get a good shot. Yeah. You know, just those little things mean so much, man. And that's why I always cared.
You know who is great to this day with that is Rob, RVD. Like,
he's great. He's a great gimmick table too.
He'll sit there at Frank and Sons, and like he knows I'm waiting to be last because we're buddies. I don't want to take up the fans' time, you know.
Right.
So we go through the table, whatever. I swear to God, Marc, we were out there. My dad, my son, and I. We were at the table with him 20 minutes just bullshit, and he goes, "You guys wanted the picture?" Or so,
because y'all are talking. Yeah,
we're 25 takes because we can't get all of our, you know, the same.
And we do that because. We do that because we're the type of fan that you know, we know you are your character. We know you are RVD the whole fucking show. We know that.
Sure, right.
But see, right now, I'm not talking to Buff Bagwell. I'm talking to Marc. I'm talking
right,
to
exactly. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, if I wanted to mark out, I'm like, oh my God, you're Buff, you're the stuff, and the girls can't get enough. You know, that's what I would do. But I wouldn't do that.
That's the difference is when you walk up, you know, the only time I'm Buff is when there's a red light on top of the camera. You know,
exactly.
I can turn into Buff, but I try to stay Marc all the time. Yeah. And that's what I do. You know, I'm Marc Bagwell, you know, and you know, if I, like I said,
and you've always been Marc Bagwell with me.
Yes, I have.
Yes,
17 years.
Exactly.
It's an old saying, but if I had a nickel for every time I heard, you know what, man, you're actually a really nice guy. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that, bro,
you'd be rich.
We all would be rich.
You'd be rich.
I've heard it so many times because when you see me on TV, you think, man, that guy's an asshole. You know, there's no way that guy's a nice guy. And then all of a sudden, here comes out one of the nicest guys you've ever met. You know.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. You said that, you'd be rich enough where you could be an asshole. Anyway, so Catherine's just laying on the charm here, so I'm just going to go and keep posting her stuff here. Southern Gent, through and through. Mrs. Bagwell's baby boys. You damn right. Judy did good. That's it.
That's what I'm talking about you know, the things that I do. It's just the way she's put, you know, Southern gentleman, you know, through and through. Mrs. Bagwell's baby boy was raised right.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. And as long as you give that respect, you know,
this one guy
get it back.
Up, that WrestleCon came up and he goes, man, I loved hating you on TV.
There you go.
And bought everything on my table. I mean, one of everything on my table, dude. And he goes, I hated you so much and bought everything on my table. It was the greatest thing. It was cool. Because he was just like, and then he remembered a quote that I said one time, and it was so good. It's one of my best things I ever did. And I never wrote down my stuff. I just always came out and just said whatever was on my mind. And I came out and I said, do not adjust your screen. I am this good looking.
Yes.
And this was an older guy. He remembered it verbatim. And he goes, that was the best thing I ever heard. It was great. You know, and that's the kind of stuff I'd come up with. I don't know where it came from or why it came, but I didn't write it down or think of it. I just did it. You know, I just did it. And that's the best stuff that comes out, is always stuff that comes from the cuff, you know.
So CJ has a really good question. Speaking of the fans, what are your thoughts on when wrestlers make fun of the fans? Now, okay, we kind of lean into Conrad, so that's a bad example, but you know, in general, when you guys or your fellow guys make fun of the fans, let me cut before you answer this, because let me just say this. I have a really hard time with like what's the stuff that Conrad says, like JR burying you the way he did. There's like, I don't understand the human inclination to cut one down rather than purposely build one up. Because if you're going in with the attitude to cut one down, that means you're no better than the one you're trying to cut down.
Right.
You come down to that person.
Now, the only time I see that is if you're a heel and you're a bad guy. It's actually called cheap heat.
Of course.
But cheap heat works. And that is, you walk out and go, you know, like when we did the McGuire skit, and Scott Steiner goes, I take some pills, and he goes, what are you doing? I go, I'm taking steroids. And he goes, you take steroids? I said, how the hell you think I hit all those home runs? You know, and he goes, wait a second. He goes, you're more of a redneck than I thought you was. I said, well, hell yeah, I'm a redneck. I live in Kansas City, don't I? And so that's, if you got to be mean a little bit to the crowd to get and brother, I mean, it was like, ooh, and he had just won the championship the day before.
Right.
And then Nitro just happened to fall on that Monday, and then we burn a Marc Bagwell shirt.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I mean, brother, it was.
Oh,
it
my
was
God.
I mean, the Kemper Arena was trying to kill us.
Yeah.
And we burned the jersey and the hat and everything going to commercial break. And it was just, I mean, the security guards are like, what have y'all done to us? So they're getting ready for, a full scale attack.
I had a buzzword earlier this year when I was on Aaron's channel doing a panel, white hot heat. That's white hot.
That really is. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
and let me say this: if you said that about Kansas City in a wrestling arena, you better be glad Harley Race couldn't walk very fast. He would have whooped your ass.
Oh God! Oh my God!
We used to
have the best times with that. Every time we were in town.
Oh God!
Every time we were in town, we was able to go over to Harley's house and shoot pool and
that damn chili real
quick. All the wrestlers were walking around with their hands over their bottles.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know what they were doing. Jeff. I was like, "What are y'all doing?" And all of a sudden, my beer started foaming over, and I was like, "Oh, I see what you mean." So
that brings up the thing now. Harley was there that day. Harley was there the same day that Marcus and Sheik was there, and I tried to get him the 3 bottles of hot sauce story.
Oh, you're kidding!
Yes.
Oh, wow.
He was there with. No, I remember it now. You brought it up, and I tried to go up to him and I tried to say, "Did Owen?"
He's a little tough too. He's a little tough because he's kind of quiet.
Yeah, right. I said, "Did Owen put a bottle of hot sauce in your chili?" And he gave me that look like, this motherfucker asked me about my chili. So the story is true. You don't. I would assume you've had Harley's chili. Is it really that hot?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, dude. It's the best. That's the best.
Yeah,
it's the best.
And honestly, it's so funny. Like you read
let
about.
Me tell you this. Harley Race can get bottle caps between his fingers, and Vader couldn't do it, and it made him so mad. A bottle cap between each finger, and Harley could squeeze them like this and crush them, like it would take me and you
flat.
This way to do it, or this way to do it. He could do it this way, bro. I got zero strength this way. I couldn't hold a paper. I couldn't hold a kite this way. And he could squeeze bottle caps and bend them that way. And Vader would try it and try it and try it and couldn't do it. Nobody else I've ever seen
had that
strength. Harley Race was a man, brother.
You're telling the story. Man. You're telling the story that Vader couldn't do it. He was managing Vader in 1993.
Yes.
And Harley was past his prime.
Vader's who put me and Scorpio together.
Yeah. So
remember they both were from Boulder.
Right.
And that's what got him on Scorpio. And he goes, why don't you put, I went out and wrestled Benoit in a singles. And when I got to the back, Dusty Rhodes goes, you didn't tell us you could wrestle. And I said, well, hell, that's what I'm here for, right? I mean, he goes, but I didn't know you could wrestle that good. And Vader, just like that, goes, why don't you put him in Scorpio? I mean, the black-white thing, I mean, it will work. And that next year, brother, we were tag team of the year on the front cover of WCW magazine.
Hell yeah, brother.
There it is.
Man,
so,
there's a guy that was underappreciated even back then. It's fucking Scorpio.
Oh, he was. When he got fired, I remember being like, well, if he got fired, I mean, I'm definitely out of here. And they got me and they put me with,
with Dell,
Stars and Stripes. And
there you go, brother.
There, me and Dell went for 2 championships. So, you never know, but, and then Dale got fired. Then I went, now what? And then there was Scotty Riggs, so things happen for a reason.
So just to clarify, thanks to our wonderful statistician here, Stat Boy, where'd it go? Okay. 2 with Patriot, 1 with Scorp, 1 with Scotty, and 1 with Shane Douglas. You and Lex weren't actually the champions together.
No,
right.
Your accomplishment was retiring Bill. I thank you for that.
Yes, right. Get out of here.
What I do.
The thing is, I didn't even know Bill go back then. I was over it during, like, I was over it then. I'm like, okay, can we?
Yes,
and then when Russo did the whole thing of, if you lose again, you have to retire. I'm like, somebody fucking do it, just somebody.
Yeah,
and then it's like,
hey, here's the bad news. I came up with the finish, which was Lex getting Bill on his shoulders, and I'm on the top rope.
Blockbuster.
And Bill's face is right at my face, and that's not good for the blockbuster. Nope. I got to go over Bill. So I jumped as high as I could. If you watch that back, I pretty much just DDT myself right in the mat. Right. And you know, but still it looked really good because it was a big crash, bang, boom. So it got a pop.
Right.
But I did not clear him by no means.
No.
And it was, but still it worked. And I didn't cover Bill. Legs covered Bill. And 1, 2, 3.
I'll ask one final question and then I'll go, I promise.
Okay, Mikey, go ahead for it.
Do you watch the content now? What's currently going on?
I try so hard, and I swear to you, nothing has grabbed me to watch. I can't. I just don't see it. I don't. Yeah. I really try. I can tell you this. I like the girls more than I like the guys now.
Hell yeah, brother.
I love Randy Orton still, and I love, believe it or not, I love that Craig McIntyre kid.
Oh, Drew McIntyre. Yeah.
Drew. Oh my God. Love it. Love those two guys still.
Dude.
But the rest of them, the Miz, and I do like the Johnny Morris kid.
John Morris kid. Yeah.
I mean, he's a great looking kid. He stays in shape. He looks good. He can wrestle good. So there's a lot of guys I like. And even last night, Hardy and that Elias had a pretty good match.
Yeah, they did.
I watched it.
Decapitated his damn self.
And I watched the whole thing. It was pretty good.
It was a really good match. Like freaking, Elias.
Let me ask you a question. What's the deal with the Truth Killings kid?
Okay. So
man?
He's the 24/7 champ. That's all it is.
Okay. So I mean, everybody's got a fucking belt, though.
Let me give Mark the backstory with Ron. Okay, so Ron was in your neck of the woods, NWA Wildside, back in the late '90s, right?
Yes.
He got called up to the WWF. And became, I think it was K Quick in WWF, and
K Quick.
And they partnered him with Road Dogg, Brian Armstrong. Brian. So he was with him for a while. Brian got drug fired because, and he's cleaned up now. God bless him.
He's done great. I saw him. He's back in the gym and stuff.
Back in the gym and basically, helping run the company. So
he's doing great.
I love Road Dogg. Great guy.
Oh yeah.
So
we've had a blast together.
Hell yeah. So Ron did another year in the company at that point, and then when TNA formed, he jumped over there. Did the same kind of, he was K Crush. He was kind of like a bitter black guy, the man keep me down, typical stupid bullshit like that. But they put the 10 pounds of gold on him. He was NWA champion, the first black NWA champion. It was awesome. He was there for a couple of years and then came back to WWE. I want to say like around 2010.
Yeah, I was down at TNA with him for a little bit.
Right. So when he came back, he was still Fun Loving Truth, doing the whole, what's up thing. And then I forget what the catalyst was, but something pushed him to a point where he snapped. He just lost it and got dead serious, came out to no music and was just angry, basically angry black man is what it was for a little bit.
Right.
Basically, yeah.
Horrible. Ron is not that guy at all. So after that, he lost his mind. He started seeing a little imaginary kid, little Jimmy. And he kind of
this is all a storyline.
It's all storyline. So he kind of went crazy, and that evolved into he's just goofy. He does stupid shit. Like he'll be in a Royal Rumble match and think it's Money in the Bank and bring a ladder out there and go climb ladder. And where's
the belt at?
Yeah. He's the comic relief portion of the show. Okay, so when they did this, so when Foley came out last year, Mikey,
I think so.
And introduced the 24/7 title, which is basically the hardcore title without the hardcore stuff. They're like, okay, that's truth. So,
yes.
And basically every time,
and like I said, he's always had a great body. He's a hell of a worker. But one week I see him in Bluefield, West Virginia with me in front of 300 people.
right.
And the next week he's on Vince's show. And I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, I saw him not too long ago with a crack pipe in his mouth. I mean,
right.
Come on, let's just call it like it is.
Right.
I mean, he's seen me fucked up too. But I'm like, God dang, what the fuck?
So
he's done very well for himself, and I'm proud of him.
Yeah,
I'm proud of him for sticking it out and being great up there.
Yeah, Ron was a guest on the show before you were. That's how far back he and I go. So
he's done an unbelievable job, obviously, to have the run he's had up there. So he's, that's good, man. I'm proud of him because, like I said, I know he's had his times where he was with me in these little shithole towns, and all of a sudden I saw him on Vince's show, and I'm like, wait a second, he was just right here with us just a week ago,
Right.
So he's done very well. I'm proud of him.
Yes. Anything else, my friend Mikey?
No, I'm good.
No,
man.
I think I'm good. Thank you for all you've done in the business. Thank you for that picture a long time ago.
Look at 3 hours, bro.
I know.
3 hours.
There's probably more. I'm just the first one to come into the green room. I don't know what Jeff has got planned for the rest of the show. I'm glad to see that you're doing well. You're doing good. You're A-okay.
Thank you, man.
And hopefully when all this COVID stuff ends and we get back to some kind of normalcy, hell, we'll meet up someday. We'll take another picture. We'll go get something to eat. We'll tell stories.
Dude, absolutely. I really, really appreciate it. It was so good to talk to you, Mike.
You too, sir. Jeff, I'll see you tomorrow in the sports bar. There is some breaking news about Dallas.
You look much better without the caterpillar.
I'm going to use that soundbite. Thank you so much.
Dude. Hell yes.
Thank you,
Dallas and Baltimore got pushed back, I think, another day. I'll let you know about that tomorrow. Catch you guys later.
Okay,
bye.
Bye-bye.
NFL, please stop the pain. Anyway, okay. So the person next to come in is the lovely young lady who was giving you all the Southern boy praise.
Okay, yeah, she was so sweet.
Hi, Kat.
Hi. Thanks for the intro.
Yeah,
hi, Marc. Can I call you Marc or should I call you Marcus?
No, call me Marc. That's
okay,
cool.
I want to. How are you today? Did you have fun?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good, baby. How about you?
I'm great. I enjoyed all your stories today. I wanted to come in so much during the show, and I'm like, no, I can't interrupt this. This is too good, too juicy.
No, thank you so much. I mean, God, I got a book coming out in 2021.
There we go. I want to talk about. There we go.
We haven't even spoke about, and the only reason it didn't come out this year is because of the COVID thing. The guy writing it, you may know, Jeff, because it's the guy that wrote Nitro. His name's Guy Ritchie.
Guy
and if you don't know him, Kat, look him up.
Love that.
His name's Guy Ritchie, and he's writing my book, and it's going to be an autobiography.
Guy Evans.
What'd I say?
Guy Ritchie,
I don't know where that came from, but Guy Evans, yeah.
Yes.
Are you sure it's Guy Evans?
Yes.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So hope we didn't hear that, but maybe you did. But no, he actually came down. He flew down, stayed with me for 4 days.
Right.
And he said, "I wish I could stay with you for 4 weeks."
Right.
And so what happened when he left is I'd be talking like this and remember another story.
Yeah.
So I'd have to call him up and go, "Hey man, listen to me. I got another one I forgot about, And I'd tell him, and he goes, "Oh my God." So we just made a Dropbox that I would call and just drop a story in, so we could just put it on each, keep adding it to the book,
Right.
But this COVID thing hit, and his wife is a nurse.
Oh,
so he became Mr. Mom at home, and she's the nurse at work. So we just moved it up to 2021. But I got the autobiography coming out that is a tell-all, show-all book, man, and it's really good. So check it out, Kat, if you get a chance.
Okay,
I certainly will.
Okay, when you send me the advance copy, make sure you put it priority mail and have it in a big box, because your stories, it's gonna be like this thick. So
yes.
Oh, dude, that's what I'm saying. And I want pictures in mine because,
hell yes.
I was always scared to write a book because I knew people wouldn't believe me. I knew they wouldn't believe my stories. And that's one thing I started this podcast off with was one of the things that's made my podcast so popular is when I tell a story and I tell it again on another podcast, it's exactly the same because it's the truth. And so people are like, man, there's no way this guy could tell this story that many times and have it exactly the same that many times. So a lot of podcast people, even though the story was unbelievable, like shooting my father when I was 16, the story is so exact that it was definitely a true story, And but it just I love talking, I love telling stories, and I've lived a crazy life before wrestling, and that's what people don't realize. So when I came into wrestling, I had to play like the little drummer boy and sit in the corner, and little did they know the biggest troublemaker in the room was me. But I had to act like I was just Marcus Alexander Bagwell sitting in the corner. And then all of a sudden, believe it or not, if you're a prima donna pretty boy in this business, it ain't gonna work. But if you're a prima donna pretty boy that may knock somebody out, then you're accepted by the guys. And there was one night in Jacksonville, Florida, where I knocked a guy out with one punch, and all the guys were there and saw it. So after that, everybody accepted me, and I wasn't the pretty boy prima donna with a silver spoon in his hand. I became somebody that that they're like, hey man, Bagwell just may knock you out, so be careful.
Exactly. That's the best way to make an entrance.
Absolutely. The guy actually said, hey, if you feel froggy, and that's all he got out.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was going to say, if you feel froggy, jump. But he goes, if you feel froggy, and I went, how?
Now, wait a minute. Now I know the guy that you punched wasn't The Undertaker, right? Because I know he just said that on one of his shows recently. Remember when he said that? He said, I told it was an old promo from when he was Biker Undertaker, and he's like, if you feel froggy. And I'm like,
It's a great saying, but this guy didn't quite get it all the way out before I knocked him out.
well, no, because you made his teeth jump down his throat. So
I bet he's still talking about that story to this day.
Oh,
he ain't gonna forget your name anytime soon.
So
no.
Do we have a title on the book?
We're just gonna call it Buff.
Oh, okay.
It's just gonna be Buff, brother.
Well,
it's Buff.
And that's what's on the table right now. But I just think just Buff.
Yeah. Well,
if nothing else, just maybe Buff is the stuff. But
because it's written by Buff, and the spine will be nice and buff. So yeah.
Oh my God! Like I said, I really want pictures because I want them to see that Jeep, for example, the car wreck, and I want them to see this expedition. I mean, my Tahoe when I wrecked this past time, and so there's going to be I think I want a lot of pictures in it to show that it's the truth. It's not something I just made up. It's really really like the pictures I showed you today, bro.
I was just gonna say, you asked me to show them on the air, so I'm not going to. I did show Kat because I asked her if she was gonna be on today.
Did you see?
She saw
my God. God
her
bless the fact that you are still with us today to tell these stories.
Yeah, her and I agreed with what I told.
I went to the gym.
There you go. So. Yeah,
that's right.
Her and I agree with what you and I talked about on the phone earlier. Like it looks like you were in a makeup chair and a stunt show.
Absolutely, it looks fake. It looks like a piece of steak on my knee.
For real.
Yep.
Like a real good piece of steak, a good piece of fillet.
Yeah, and the fact that you had that graft done like that's like when you described it. What was it?
It's called a gastro flap.
Yeah, a gastric flap. I went
a gastric flap, and they pull my cap up. They pull my cap up into my knee and make it my knee. It's brutal, man. I thought the guy was joking when he was telling me, but I'm about 2 weeks away from being able to walk. But I'm like making full strides with a walker now. and went to the gym today and everything. I just got to be a little careful. I mean, it's just going to be a couple more weeks before I got the stability in there totally, but I'm getting further and further every day, so it won't be long. I'll be back 100%.
I'm so glad to hear that. And don't, I hope you don't push yourself too hard. You stay safe. That's
one thing I had to be careful with the physical therapist with. I had to tell her, I said, listen now, when you tell me something, I'm going to do it, times 10. So you got to make sure you let me know, is this right? Is this wrong or not? Because when you leave here, I'm going to keep doing this and, pushing it. But believe it or not, we're at a stage now where I'm not going to be pushing it too hard because it's now getting to be like physical therapy. It's time to bend it and things like that. So it's like really, really tough, man.
Ooh.
We're getting down to the nitty gritty.
The nitty gritty. Yeah.
And that means bending and stuff. So, but I'm never going to get past 90, which 90 is about as far as you get anyway. But I was at 75 yesterday, so that's really good. But that's with her pushing it. But that's really coming along. I mean, when we first started, I was at 40, so we've really come a long ways in even a couple of weeks.
That's so awesome.
Man. That's just, yeah. And
because thank you so much, Kat, for being so sweet.
Oh, no problem.
I told you were a sweetheart.
Yeah, how old are you, Kat?
I just had a birthday. I turned 33 November 1st. Thank you.
33.
I'm not shy to say that on the air.
No, I remember 33. It was a long time ago, but I remember it.
Yep.
This man is asking a lady her age on my show and throw me under the Conrad bus. I'm going to hell today. Whatever.
Hey.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's buff. It's buff. Come on.
I know.
Yeah, right? I mean,
I know.
I told a girl the other day, I asked her age, and she was like, oh, that's so impolite. I said, oh, my God. I said, that's so 80s what you just said.
I was going to say, she must not have met you. This very, very polite gentleman here. Yes, I had no problem asking that question. He was very polite about it.
Thank you, darling.
He's always been so polite and cool with me, but when it comes time to prank call, he's on. I gotta dig the file up somewhere. I gotta find that file, man. Oh my God. Good stuff. Kat, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it, sweetie. I'm gonna bring in our next guest,
Marc,
and then we're gonna see you.
Thank you, darling. Always remember to call me Marc, because if I'm in an airport or something and I hear Marc, I stop and look for it, because really my wrestling buddies call me Marcus, because I was always Marcus Alexander Bagwell. So really I've got 3 names. It's Marc, Marcus, and Buff. Now, if I hear Buff, I know it's a fan. Marcus is usually a fan. But if I hear Marc, that's somebody I grew up with, or they know me very well. So always call me Marc, and remember that.
Well, I surely will. And hopefully COVID will be over and it will be safe to give you a great big hug and get my book signed. So
yes, you betcha.
You have a great rest of your evening.
Thanks, beautiful.
If the COVID lifts and WrestleMania is down in the Southeast, Georgia's not too far. So
no, it's easy. Bye, darling.
Bye, doll. Have a good night.
Bye, guys. Good night.
See ya.
All right. So, let me now bring in a gentleman who sent a picture earlier. He was standing up and you were kneeled in front of him all those years ago, and now here the cursor will freaking work at 3 hours and 3 minutes. Big Baller G, Jeff, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, guys. Doing good. Hi, guys. How you guys doing tonight?
Good shirt.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Had to for the occasion.
Big Baller G.
Big Baller G, yes. Jeff will tell you everything that I've done in the past couple months, and I let him.
Stop breaking here. We're live, pal. Anyway,
go ahead and tell me.
He has donated, like all those super chats you saw earlier in the show. He's been a consistent, like, big baller amount super chat. Like he basically paid for my entire work wardrobe that's hanging up here right now. So,
really
great guy. I love this man to pieces. I really do.
So
he's a solid guy, and like I said, he's a fan from way back. Because he
Where do you live, Big Baller?
Right now I'm in Pennsylvania.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
He's a Steelers fan. What the fucking right now?
Are you a Trump fan, or are you a Biden fan?
I despise Trump, but I voted for Biden this year.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, here we go. What? Okay.
Yeah, man, that's you know, I'm just hope if he lives 4 years, great. If he don't, we're in trouble, I think.
Yeah.
It's Kat and I have talked about this because Kat and I are on opposite sides of the political fence too. I just want the next 50 days to just go and be done. To get shit.
I'll be honest with you. I think we got a lot more to come at us here with this thing. So you know,
but
I just want it to be over with. You know, like you said, same thing, just be done.
It seems like the person currently there is finally going. You know what? Like more states are going. Okay, it's over, dude. Please just let us do this, right?
Sure.
So it seems like things are starting to transition, which is very. I'm happy it's happening. So I like, you know, this has been the worst election thing since the one 20 years ago, which was such a freaking mess. Awful. All right, so let me get some of the questions that were in here because I know we had a lot that I glazed over, and I'm very sorry everybody in the chat room. I was just, you know, trying to get the callers in too. Because
while you're looking for a question,
go ahead.
Should I call you Mark? Marcus?
Mark.
Okay, so I've been tuning in and out because I've doing other stuff around the house. What would you do different about your wrestling career if you could? Like anything different?
I would have there's only one, believe it or not. And that is I would have but I never would have done it. But this is what I needed to do. I would have somehow got Jim Ross's conversation in writing or made sure through somebody else that was the actual plan.
Yeah.
And there wasn't some other plan because keep in mind, the day he called me and said, take it off, rest your head, there was no mother thing even started yet. So that all came after that. So if I would have just not trusted Jim Ross, which was a great friend of mine, and called me up and told me,
he's Jim Ross.
Right.
You're Jim Ross, and we got 3 days. You got 3 days to rest, and we'll see you on Monday. We've got big plans for you. I mean, who would say, wait a minute, I smell something here? Right. Nobody would. Right. But if I wish you could do something, I wish I would have done that. And I wish I would have, thank you, baby. I wish I would have just thought, you know what, maybe I should call Vince and just double check.
Right.
Yep. I mean, why would you, right? But that's what I would have done.
Okay.
And that way, I wouldn't have ever got in trouble. I would have probably made the 2 shots. And now from there, they would have had to create a whole nother reason to get rid of me if that's what they really wanted to do, which I don't know why they were trying to get me anyway. I remember wrestling in a match one night, and I was the heel with Raven, believe it or not, because we were up north in Ohio.
Okay.
And I was outside the ring, and I was doing the leg against the ring post, and he was like, his crotch was in the ring post, and I was doing his leg against the metal, the post, and there was a good crowd there, but it got a little bit quiet, and this guy right on the front row goes, you only had 1 match at the WWF.
Oh.
And I mean, the whole crowd went, woo. And this woo's going on. I'm thinking, and still going with the leg, I'm thinking, man, you got to come up with something big on this. You got to come up with something big.
Oh, yeah.
So just as soon as the woos got lowered, I turned and I said, one more time than you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And the crowd went, yeah. I was the baby face all of a sudden of the match, but I don't know where it came from, but I was thankful to God I came up with it. Oh.
Yeah. I'm trying to recollect. I know it was in El Paso, where I can't remember where it was or what year it was, but it was an indie show. It was a house show.
Now, buddy, a house show in El Paso.
Okay, Marc, your audio is really shitty all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on.
What's wrong?
Your audio is getting really shitty all of a sudden.
Okay, hold on. My power. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to get on the air here. Hold on.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but it's staticky really bad.
Same here because we just think about the time.
Oh, okay. Wow. Do we need to cut it off?
No, hold on. She's going to get the wire right now.
Okay. We are live, pals. Okay, so I'm checking somebody's Twitter. It looks like we haven't been told on yet by the pod father, so we're in good shape so far. Not a good day for me to be a subscriber. Oh well.
Hey, did Anchor ever get a hold of you, Jeff?
No. And I'm hoping uploading this thing will turn their ass around.
Yeah.
Okay. We're charging. How do I sound now?
Worse.
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
Just so you know, like the last bit, it's been degrading. Like I've been hearing the echo of us on your end, and then the whole audio is just oh man. So just letting you know what's going on.
Hold on one sec.
There it is. There we go.
There it is.
Am I better?
No echo, and I can hear you perfect.
That's what it was. The battery was just getting dead slower and slower, I think.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so
laptop, duh, Jeff. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I think you said El Paso or something, bro, right?
Yeah, it was in El Paso. I can't remember what year it was. Had to be. I'm trying to think. It was a house show.
God, we've wrestled there so many times.
Yeah, no, and I want to say the Rock and Roll Express might have been there too that night.
Oh my God!
I can't remember what year it was.
It was in a time machine that Marc was there.
Wait a minute. Hey, Jeff, remember the guy earlier that had the silver top hat on?
That was him. That was me. That's him.
Oh, that was you. Okay.
That was me.
That had to be an indie show. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it was an indie show.
I knew that because those colors came. It was my manager wanted me to do silver, and I went, silver's going to be too hard to keep clean. But he was just dead set on it. So we did a silver top hat and silver. And to have a silver top hat's a big deal, man. They gotta coat it and paint it. Yeah. And that was about a $600 top hat, dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so big deal. And but at the same time, yeah, that was definitely an indie show. So I can't remember the date either, but I can tell you it was before 2012 because that's when my buddy died.
Yeah.
And that was my car wreck. So
might have 2010.
2011.
Yeah, 2011. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Well, what happened? What was the deal? That was besides the picture. Was there something else?
No, I'm just trying to reminisce, trying to remember. Yeah, it's I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. It's Buff Bagwell.
Right.
We got to see Buff. Fuck the other guy.
Fuck that guy. Who gives a shit? He's a jobber anyway. So let's see. All right. Well, I will go ahead and ask the questions that are left in the chat room, and we will give it a wrap and go let Buff rest his voice along with everything else he's resting. So
I love this shit. Let's do it.
Big G, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank
not
you
a problem.
Dude.
And pray to God, we have a sports bar tomorrow, and the NFL dick me tomorrow.
Bagwell.com, man. You go to there, anything. I've been doing a lot of Instagram live stuff lately.
Okay.
I did it today at the gym. I'm gonna be doing a lot more of that. But you go to buffbagwell.com.
Right.
It'll lead you to my Instagram, my Facebook. I'm selling cars now, wholesale cars.
Nice.
Okay.
And, it's called Buff Bagwell Motorsports.
There you go.
Cool.
Website's already done, but it won't be out for a couple of weeks because of the COVID thing.
Yeah.
All of this I did before COVID, thank God. And then now it's, we're having to, get things done and wait a little longer to get our license and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We've almost got everything totally done. And this car wreck kind of slowed us up a little bit.
Yeah.
But we should be up and going and running within a couple of months. I mean, at the max. But Buff Bagwell Motorsports is what it's called. And my dad was actually a drag racer, and the emblem's really cool. It's got me posing at the top, and my dad doing a burnout at the bottom. So it's pretty cool.
Is Marc Buff Bagwell your actual Twitter? Is that really you, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, so making sure.
All right, cool. All right, guys, it was a pleasure. I'll see you guys later.
Pleasure,
we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, guys.
Sure, brother.
All right.
Have a good night, man. All right, so let's blow through these here. Let's see, where were we here? Out of all your tag team partners, D. Ross says, who was the most fun to work with?
That's tough, man.
Because the thing is, you could say Scotty, but at the same time, it was nerve-wracking working with Scotty, right? So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it really was
50-50. So,
we had a lot of stuff going between us at the end.
Yeah.
Big friends. I mean, I said it. God, I really was. It was just. I mean, think about it. Let me ask you this: was Scotty Riggs anything like Lex Luger wrestling? No. Was Gold Scorpio anything like
the Patriot?
Steiner wrestling?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So same with the Attitudes. Right. I had to adjust to their wrestling ability,
right,
to work as a team,
right.
And same thing with friendship. I think I had to adjust to be friends with them. But I love Scott Norton. I love Scott Steiner. I love Lex. Riggs was a great part of my life. We had a blast. I mean,
hell yeah, dude.
Me and Riggs was, every club in the world we were at,
Right.
Dale Wilkes, my God, we were super, super friends, so.
Super friends.
Yeah, exactly. That's very good. Yeah, the Thunderdome and Lex Luthor.
Oh, yeah, right. So, okay. So, the next question, I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What was your favorite year in the business?
That'd be pretty easy on that one, because I could get within a couple. I can give you the best six. That would have been 95 to 2001.
Yeah, I was going to say the Nitro years. Yeah,
98 was a little bit of a setback, but when I came back, so I would say 99 probably. Because when I came back from I know, man. Vicious and Delicious was before that. American Male was before
97
that.
was seriously. Like,
man, it's just hard, man. That's
97, hard. Dude. You were the flock of geese with the golden eggs, man. Nobody could touch any of y'all in 97.
No, exactly, dude. So
we had
a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. And I think the 95 to 2001 was just. It was just a great run. It was a great run.
It was awesome. So, okay, so let me see where we're at here. A lot of people are asking, because you mentioned liking the females in the business. What are your thoughts on Bailey?
You know what? Believe it or not, I've really watched her lately. The problem is she's not quite as pretty as some of the girls, but she's a better worker than a lot of the girls.
Right.
And she's still a pretty girl. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Very pretty girl. But that little hot girl with the blue hair she wrestles. God. I mean, she's smoking hot, dude. You know what I mean?
It's so funny. If you go back in about 5 years ago when they all got called up from NXT, I was not into Sasha Banks at all. Just was not into her look, like her. And again, we're not objectifying people. John Alda, go fuck yourself. Her facial features did nothing for me.
Right.
Great body, great worker, great character,
and stuff maybe.
But like, I think the accents to the hair. I don't know if she had actual work done. I don't know her. I don't know her from Adam. I don't know her, right? But something about the way she changed her approach. And then when she took a hiatus briefly and came back at the end of last year and flipped the script on, turned heel and went nuts, and then now that she's doing what she's doing now, she has been the most consistent performer in the company, male or female.
When I watched her and Bailey's match of the night, like I said,
oh my God, man,
the best match I've seen in a long time. So
yeah,
I really like her. And then there's a blonde that came out the other night. I can't remember her name, and she does something that I think her finishing move is something of fate, twist of fate, or that's part of her name.
Oh goodness,
she's got a name that's like something of fate. And she does like a spinning thing off the top rope.
Oh God! Oh, so help me out there, guys, in the chat room. It's right here,
and it's part of her name, like Krista Fate, and that's part of her name's part of it in there.
Do you remember what show it was? Out of curiosity,
it was a while back. And she's but she's a blonde, and she was a hottie. But that Sasha Banks chick, I think, has stole the show on the hot part.
Yeah. I mean, Sasha's been the most Alexa Bliss?
Yes, Bliss.
Oh my God. Okay.
A Bliss of Fate or something. He does a spinning thing off the top that's really a cool move.
Twisted Bliss.
Twisted Bliss. There you go.
There you go. So, okay. She now, if you remember, Mike Rotundo's boy. Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
He has a gimmick where he's like this really dark, creepy character with a mask on. The Fiend, right? The Fiend. On the show it's Bray Wyatt, but it's like when
turn into that thing.
The Fiend. So the Fiend was feuding with the big guy Strowman. So Strowman's best friend and there was this connection with him and Bliss. So Strowman basically sacrificed Bliss to the Fiend to get, whatever it was. And that snapped her mind. Like she lost her shit.
Okay.
So she's like crazy now. And like when she's doing the stuff with Bray Wyatt, the Mr. Rogers character, she's all happy-go-lucky Miss Vaughn stuff.
That's the blonde with the pigtails? Okay.
When she's with the Fiend, she's like stone cold serious. So I said it for weeks now. She has been the most consistent. Like she's been a breath of fresh air in Bray's presentation because, again, not to knock the guy because I know you said you like him. Bray losing the title to Goldberg at the beginning of the year destroyed him. It took him this long to get back to like, oh wow, and now with Alexa there, my goodness. I got shit for saying she's been the best female performer of the year. It's like, have you watched her this year?
Right.
Anyway, so a question I've asked many times. I'll go and throw it up there. What are your thoughts on Mr. Madden and Mr. Tenay?
Mike Tenay was always super, super nice to me.
Love Mike Tenay.
I found him dead tomorrow in a gutter, and he was caught on fire, and I had to piss to put him out. I wouldn't.
All right, there you go.
So he's always dogged me, that fat piece of shit. I want him to die too of COVID. Hope he gets COVID 20. Hope he gets COVID number 20.
There you go.
Nice. Mike Tenay is a super nice guy. Marc Madden is a backstabbing, fat ass piece of fucking dog shit on the bottom of my shoe.
There you go.
Boom.
Mike Tenay's story. When we were first starting the show, I mean, like I think like maybe 3 weeks in, right? We have Mike Tenay on the show, and I'm rattling off the marks. I'm being Mr. Trivia guy. I know everything about everything.
Right.
Him being the professor, he goes, "You're Professor Junior." Just boom, gives me the names. Here you go.
Right.
I've been the West Coast professor for 18 years now.
All right, there you go.
So thank you again, Mike Tenay. I love you, man.
Tenay's always been straight with me and real cool. Madden went from like when he saw us, he'd be all sweet and nice, and then all of a sudden, I don't even read. Like remember all in a long time ago before computers, there were dirt sheets.
Right.
I swear to God, I hope I die in my sleep tonight. I've never grabbed a dirt sheet and read it in my life.
Right.
I've had guys tell me what it said. I've had guys tell me, "Oh my God, they drilled you on this and this." I didn't give two flying fucks, and that's the same kind of thing like Mark Madden.
Right.
I could give two flying fucks what that fat piece of fucking shit says about me. I just don't care.
Right.
But this is so embarrassing for somebody to be so fat and so ugly that you've got to dog out somebody that is so good looking and great in the ring that you've got to dog that person out because you have never even run the ropes before, more or less. I'm not sure you could even get in the fucking ring unless it was steps. So just think about that the next time you want to dog somebody, you fat, worthless piece of shit. As a matter of fact, I ain't heard his name in 20 fucking years. Where did you just bring that up from?
One of the fans brought him up, so there you go.
Jesus Christ. That man is, oh my God.
Well, the problem is, Mark, the network makes it a thing where
WCW.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
on this,
stuff from back then, is still relevant because of the network. So
yeah, but that's right.
Yeah.
Forget about that.
And for the record, Greg,
he'll talk in your face, and then he just dogs you out behind your back. And he's one of those guys like Conrad that has never even hit the ropes, but still wants to judge it. I don't get that. Get in the ring, hit the fucking ropes.
Yep.
Have a television match taped, semi-main, first match, last match, anywhere you want.
Right.
On a consecutive 83 weeks. And then judge me, motherfucker. Don't fucking do that shit at 300 at Bills and and COVID-19 right around the corner gonna grab your ass. Don't do it, man.
And
no. Man, lose a little weight first. Have a little respect for yourself on how you look when you're at home and you look in the mirror and go, God, I am so fat and ugly.
For the record, my tagging partner in Pittsburgh says Madden does not speak for all of Pittsburgh, just pointing that out. And we know that, Greg. Pittsburgh's a beautiful city.
Tell him I would never blame him anyway for that. Mark Madden, whatever he says is what he says. Yeah,
right. And for the record, Pittsburgh Steelers, we love you guys.
Oh my God, what a great season they're having.
And the freaking NFL is just dicking them so hard in the rear right now with the stupid postponement bullshit. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so here's a great question from our lovely lady Kat, who is still hanging around. God bless you, Kat. Right. Favorite city you've been to and a favorite place to eat in that city?
Gosh, because I got that food, but not the city. Well, yeah, because we had a lot of good times there too. Baltimore would be way up there.
Hell yeah, man! Baltimore's got great food.
Baltimore would be way up there because there used to be a club there called the Safari, and it was at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And the Marriott was just about a mile away from the airport. And the Marriott was a fun place to party at Baltimore for the fans.
Hell yeah, dude.
But we also had a place that stayed open late for us, like an Italian joint. And I can't remember the name of it now.
Yeah.
But it was just a huge Italian restaurant place that stayed open for the boys. And we always went there, and it was just every time we were in Baltimore, you had to go. One of those have-to-go, must-see places to eat. But I don't remember the name. It was just, and it wasn't downtown, man. It was way out somewhere, man. But it was in Baltimore.
Do you remember approximately like where it was in the city?
God, man, I'd just be lying. But
okay,
man, it was just. I mean, we were there every single. I mean, anybody that would watch WCW back in the early 90s.
Right.
And you said, where did all the boys used to go eat?
Yeah.
Somebody who was a fan of ours from Baltimore. Just like that, they'd know it. Or if I could call Lex or Steen right now, they would say, oh, that was so-and-so, you know.
Oh, please call Sting. I do. He lives close to
we talked the night for an hour and a half.
Did you really?
He made the phone, and we were on the phone for an hour and a half.
Dude, I regret it to this day. I feel so bad about it to this day, Mark. When I was working at an establishment here locally, it was a national chain, but I worked at the local location, right?
Right.
I knew he lived out here because he had come into the store shortly after Nitro, after WCW died. He came in with his wife at the time and their kids. So he and I talked for like 20 minutes just about, and the last thing I said was, "Are you going to work with Vince?" He goes, "I don't know, man. I don't know what Vince would do with me." And that was in 2001. So he knew then it was not a good idea to go to Vince.
Right.
So a few months later, about whatever it was, about a year and a half later, I get the gig doing the shows, and I hacked into the system and got his account and got his phone number.
My God.
And I called him to ask for an interview, and he was totally great with me. He was and he goes, "By the way, how'd you get my number?" And I was honest with him. He goes, you just broke your deal, dude."
Oh my God.
For 19 years, I've regretted being honest. Like, how fucked up is that?
Right.
So, Steve, if you're watching or you watch it later, I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
And now you're not working for Vince anymore. Please call me back.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah, he hates the phone, dude. He hates.
I got
to do a podcast for me. He did a podcast,
right?
And then, but it's just so hard to continue to get named. I mean, God, I had some of the top names in the business, but then what do? You know?
Right.
It just gets tougher and tougher.
Well, see, that was the thing. When I was doing the show I did with you back in the day, like, we started out with freaking Dan Severn, who was a 2-time world champion. Like, that's right. And then we go Bobby Friggin Heenan, and Jeff Jarrett and China, and then with all due respect to the dead, our last guest on the audio show in February of 2004 was The Wall.
Wow!
Like, I love Jerry Toot. He was a wonderful human being. But
wow. He actually came to my house
right
back when WCW was rolling, and I had a big mansion, theater room, and all that stuff. And one day I walked in and heard him talking about my house to the boys. And I came in that fucking room and I said, "Jerry, shut your fucking mouth." That is the last thing you want, is the boys to know that you live in a mansion.
Yeah, no.
You're driving an $85,000 Jag.
Oh, man.
And, oh my God. And he had this theater room that he had this, he said he had this remote that controlled the fans. And I was like, shut your fucking mouth. And he didn't even understand he was doing anything wrong. He really didn't.
Please
Jerry, what a great guy.
Please tell me the Jag isn't wrecked, right?
Huh?
Please tell me the Jag didn't get wrecked.
Oh no, but the Jag's been gone. God.
Okay. Just
80. That's a $1,700 payment. That was one of the first things to fucking go.
Jesus. I can't even say that out loud. Okay.
Bro, listen to this. My house and car, I was at $7,000 right there a month. $7,000 with one car, and I had 3. One car and one house payment. Not power, not water, not electricity, not fucking nothing else. $7,000, one car, and a house payment. But at the same time, I'm living my lifestyle.
You're in cleanup aisle too? Jesus.
So I mean, keep in mind, I'm actually living in a house that's CPA considered is the right house for the right write-off and all that. So I was doing the right thing. It's just that the car was a little bit,
Yeah.
But I was just getting ready to start saving all my money, and then Vince bought us. And it was like, well, I had a blast. I had a real good time.
Yeah,
I did. I had a blast.
So Mike D asks, who's your greatest influence throughout your entire career?
Sting.
Oh yeah, easy.
I mean, that's just a no-brainer.
Yeah, Sting the influence and Lex the biggest caretaker. I really, so yeah.
He was the first one to take me in, and he really did love me, and I really did love him. And he was just a great guy, and he just really steered me right and was just a great guy, man. He was a really, really great guy. And so, yeah, Sting definitely is number one, bro. And Lex is number two, but
oh yeah,
he'd probably hate me for saying 1 and 2, but I knew Sting longer. That's why Lex wouldn't be mad at me for saying.
Do you think Lex gets way too much shit?
I haven't heard a lot of shit about him, but I can tell you that Lex was pretty rough, man.
Yeah. Right? Again,
yeah. He'd be at his own gym.
Right.
He'd be at his own gym, bro.
Yeah.
And he would just be ripping people apart.
Right.
And I go, Lex, that guy pays for a membership for your gym.
Right.
And he'd go, I don't give a fuck. Oh, and I say something like, hey, that guy got his pro card. And he'd go, he's too short. And I go, number one, Lex, he's my height. So he's the thing. Number two, he works out at your gym and he's a pro.
Yeah.
And he's like, but this is, 6'6", 280, ripped.
Yeah.
This is the total package talking. And
right, exactly.
I'd rather be his workout partner,
Like only didn't do the WBF because he broke his freaking arm in a motorcycle wreck.
I was going to tell you that story earlier. Without Sting, he would have had arm cut off.
Oh yeah.
Who's the real superstar surgeon?
Right. Andrews.
Dr. Andrews. Dr. Andrews, before he was the NFL guru and all that.
And Stone Cold Savior,
He found Dr. Andrews over one of his surgeries while he was just coming up and brought him in. But 3 doctors already had Lex's arm getting amputated.
Oh, shit.
And from about the elbow down, same thing.
Oh.
And Dr. Andrews saved his arm.
Damn.
Yeah, true story. That's a true, 100% true story.
Wow. So, okay, a couple follow-ups from our guest earlier. Jeff, the one that was at the indie show with you in El Paso, January 19th, 2013 was the date.
Wow, 2013. So I came back from my car wreck.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd be back that quick from my car wreck. That's why I picked earlier.
The fact that you were walking out here at the meet and greet and posed with me and Mikey speaks volumes of your commitment to getting your shit back together, dude. For real.
I crushed my whole face in.
Yeah.
I had 5 plates put in my face. And the doctor that did it had to get a picture from my mom.
I remember because you're freaking in our pictures, your face is like it's almost like it's like smushed in and it's like not there. So it's oh man. Yeah.
But the doctor actually said, she goes, by the look of everybody in this room, she goes, your son's a pretty good looking guy, obviously, but I don't know that. So I need a picture of him. So when my mom told me, I said, well, fuck, make it a good one. Fuck it, don't make it a good picture. So she had to go home, get a picture for this person to operate on my face and put plates and shit in it, dude. Because your face, when my face got broke by my hard top coming in on it, it shifted like plates. Well, they thought if I just stayed still that my plates would all heal back by themselves, and they wasn't healing. So they had to go in, and I got a plate like here, and over. I got over to my right eye. I got to go the other way. No, see, this way. Yeah, here, and then my occipital bone, I broke it for the second time. And you can see when you look at my face, there's a little bit of a line there more than the other side. Because I broke that bone twice. I broke it as a kid when I was 5 years old on my brother's knee on the trampoline. And I broke it again in that car wreck. And listen to this. That bone's like this, and it broke in my eye like that twice.
Oh God. Yeah. I remember.
If it does, you're blind instantly.
Yeah, I remember as a kid when Beefcake had his accident and his face got crushed.
God, parasailing.
Yeah, and then I saw what happened to you, and we talked, and I'm like, okay, so Bagwell went hold my beer.
Right.
God damn. So Catherine followed up with her story, with your Italian restaurant story, because she's Italian. She says, "Nice. I'm Italian. You got to have some good downer dives wherever you go and serve hometown. So tasty, authentic." So
yeah,
absolutely.
And it was like 3 decks too. It was like 3.
Oh, man,
climbed up 3 levels. Even that to help her out, try to figure it out. It was like 3 different levels you could climb up. And we always went to the top, of course, and ate up that way. But it was fantastic.
So now that we're talking again, I'm gonna find this damn place and call you back when I find it.
Dude,
so. Great. The guy from Pittsburgh, my friend Greg, says, just wanted to say thank you, Buff, for being such a good dude. The one indie show we worked together. Okay, cool. There you go. Awesome. Greg is one of those guys where he's done everything except actually like do the thing, right? But he's been a manager. He's worked. He does the podcast with me now. He makes my trivia expertise would make Mike Tanea go, sorry, Jeff. Nope. He's the guy now. Seriously. I love Greg. I love him.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And Virtue, who's back in the chat now, says, right now, Jeff's going, Vito knows who I am now. Yeah, that's right. He does. I love you, Vito. You know that. Come on, man.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. And Aaron, the boss man, says great interview. Aaron was the guy that ran the website back when we first did the interview back 17 years ago.
Yeah.
So thank Aaron, man. I'm glad I was able. By the way, I said it at the top before I brought you in. Like I said, we're on Aaron's channel, we're on my channel, we're on Greg's channel, and we're on my buddy Colin and Ohio's channel. So I appreciate everybody letting me just do the damn thing. I love that I was able to get this out there because I
for me with his car wreck. So
yeah, I've made
on and let's turn it out.
Yeah, I've made so few genuine friends of the boys in my 18 years of doing this,
right?
And this guy's one of them,
right?
I dude, like I hear people crap on him, and Lord knows Marc's got his shit that he's done and whatever. But if you do right by me, you got to do a lot to get off my good list.
Right.
But once you do get off that good list, you're working harder to get back on the good list. So there you go.
Sure, that's good.
And Virtue says, Jeff just got injured. Just thinking about your both injured. Yeah. I'm sitting here cringing. Like it just, ugh. And like I said, I saw the pictures, so I know exactly what he went through this year. So yeah. Psycho Jet Black says, any good Psycho Sid stories?
Oh God, I got a great one. I told earlier about the story, but the guy that said, if you feel froggy, and I knocked the guy out.
Right.
One day, about a week after that, at a show, of course, Sid had his own dressing room, and Sid goes, "Hey," and I wasn't Buff yet. I was just Marcus. He goes, "Marcus." He goes, "Will you come here for a minute?" I said, "Sure, man." So here I walk in with Sid Vicious, just giant freak of nature, just
yes,
just a badass, and I sat down. He goes, "Have a seat." So I sat down, and I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? And he goes, "How did you knock that guy out?" And keep in mind, I mean, not trying to be a badass, but number one, I was a Golden Gloves state champion when I was 12. I won the Georgia Golden Gloves state championship. And number two is, when you knock somebody out, it really is a lot of luck involved to one punch knock somebody out. You got to hit them just right. Oh, yeah. It ain't all the time you're going to knock them out. You may hit somebody and they may kick your ass. Oh, yeah. But so I just said, dude, I just stepped away. I always step one step away, then I come back.
Right.
And so when the guy says, "You feel froggy, you jump," I just went, stepped away, and I come back and caught him just right there. And I mean, just literally went just straight over backwards. Nice. And Eric Watt stand over me. He counted to 10. 1, 2, and Caddy goes, "You're out."
Nice.
You know, so it was funny. It was great, but he wanted to know how I knocked the guy out, dude.
Right.
True story. And I said, dude, you just got to swing. It's not a guarantee thing, you know. But he wanted to know how I knocked him out.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Kind of a touchy question. Were you overseas during the thing with Arn?
Oh my God, I was across the hall.
Are you shitting me, dude? Oh my God.
Yeah, directly across the hall.
Oh my God.
And there was no eye holes.
No.
So the reason why Sid was able to do that, the fight started down in the bar.
Right.
My wife was with me.
Oh my, Judy?
No, Tanya, my first wife.
Oh, Tanya. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Tanya, my first wife, was with me. We're in our bedroom and we're sitting there and we don't know all this is going on down at the bar. All we hear is this big commotion and we open the door and guess who saved Arn's life? Too Cold Scorpio.
I did hear that. Yes.
He dove in the middle to save their lives. So Too Cold Scorpios who saved Arn.
Both of them probably.
Arn opened the door believing Sid wanted to make up. Sid hit him with a chair, broke the chair to pieces.
Yeah.
And he came in, Arn grabbed a pair of scissors, stabbed him in the gut.
Oh my God.
And hit him with the part of the chair and stabbed him like 18 times everywhere.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. So they both had surgery overseas.
Yeah.
And then they sent the whole world after us to come and you know, either fire all of us or you know, either that and then damn if the Nasty Boys didn't fuck with the one of the main guys of the tour and shaved his head and pissed all over him and put swastikas all over him. And
oh my God,
we made an angle out of it. So Scorpios and Nasty Boys, our match was the hottest match of the night because of what was wrong with him. Every night he'd tell the story and take his ball cap off and show what they'd done to his hair.
Yeah.
So the fans were like, you know, so we were like the hottest match of the night, even though we're like 3.
Yeah, you know, I mean, to be fair, Brian and Jerry call that Tuesday, so you know that's kind of
right. Exactly.
Crazy ass. Okay, Virtue, I love your request, and I would, but number one, I can't sing without the music. I can't make myself do that. I try so hard, and I suck even worse than when the music's on. And if I play the music, I can't make money on this video. And if we've gone for 4 hours, if I waste a 4-hour video on a 2-minute clip, I'm gonna be pissed in my own ass.
It goes. If you see them come, and better run for cover. Girls, you don't need a weekend lover. American man.
There you go, brother. That's perfect. Okay, thank you.
For them, you better not listen. You might wind up in critical condition. American male.
Oh my God, dude.
10,000 times. American male.
Yeah. American males for the next 6 years of the company existence. Jesus.
Jimmy Hart wrote that, by the way.
Why am I not surprised?
He wrote a lot of our songs. He was very good.
Again. He and it's funny. I played that yesterday low enough where I didn't get caught. But it's like, dude, it's your theme song is so ridiculous.
I agree. But here's the problem: we had to go by Turner's Library.
Right.
We couldn't. We had no choice but to go by Turner's Library.
Well, of course,
we couldn't pick out cool songs. We had to go by Turner's Library.
Right. What's funny is the theme they used to dub Sid's '99 theme when he came back after being in the WWF. I like that one now.
Oh yeah, so do I.
Because the one it kind of sounds like dun, 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 It sounds like that. I'm like, this is like, I thought that was the real theme. I looked up like, no, he when he came back, he had that Iron Man theme when he first came out. Oh, so this wasn't. Oh, so but I love that theme. Like where was the WWE dub 20 years ago? Anyway,
no shit, right?
So Catherine says we're awesome for singing. So that's well, Buff sang. So he's the man. So yeah, he did all that. So there you go. All right, I'm gonna cut it because we're at almost 4 hours, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna get something to go to bed, man. Thank you so much.
She's at 10 o'clock, brother. Great grief. Dude, I love you.
I gotta get something to eat.
Dude, and you know how much I love you, and I wish so bad that COVID wasn't a thing, but even if it was, like, it wasn't like 3,000 miles is a bitch. It has been our entire friendship. So,
oh my god,
like,
yeah,
absolutely. As soon as this, here's the problem though. I'm gonna tell you. Well, here's the thing. I was going to tell you when you were talking about your thing with Helms with the bottle to the back of the head, the brick. I had a similar injury right after that. I fell off the hood of a car, cracked my head wide open.
Wow.
And over the course of the last 19 years, I've had a couple of traumas here and there. Had a really bad one on a plane around my birthday and conked the spot right on the back of my head on the overhead compartment. Just boom, night. And so we did MRIs, EEGs, the whole thing. Doctor looked me right in the eye and says, nothing I can do for you. You're going to have to medicinally manage it the rest of your life, and you can't fly anymore.
Wow.
I said, I can't fly? Like, I have family everywhere, and I can't fly. So I'm like, okay, so if I want to go see you, I'm on a train or a bus. If I want to go see my family in Europe, I got to take a boat.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, fuck me, man. So yeah, once we get this shit together, we will definitely have to arrange for either meet halfway or, if you're coming to Cali for something.
I'll be that way with some kind of travel, that, no doubt.
Hell yeah. And we're getting requests. Buff is a nice guy. Let's do this again someday soon. And Catherine says, I second that. Top-notch guest. I have long called Rob Van Dam my favorite guest, and Rob has been a close friend of mine for 15 years now.
Right.
Yeah, 15 years now. And when I came off that plane out of Vegas and went to LAX and went to UCLA Hospital, he was on texting me the whole way because he had just done his concussion documentary. I had just interviewed him on my birthday about the damn documentary about concussions, Mark. And I get a concussion. Like, the universe is fucking bananas. So yeah, he stayed with me the whole way from LAX to Westwood, dude.
Well,
so
that's true. Yeah,
Rob, Rob is my he when he first came on my show, he talked about him and Hulk being soul brothers through The Secret, all that the law of attraction stuff. He's my soul brother, but dude, I always forget how much I value you, just being you. Every time we talk,
yeah, dude.
we literally bullshitted for 4 hours.
You just know what you got. You just know what you get with me. And there's nothing but straight up, So that's a good thing. And it's hard to find that, bro.
It is, man. Especially in this damn business.
Like the guy that came on, and said, I'm talking to Marc, and y'all are. And it's hard to find somebody that's really going to be their self when they're wearing their own hat that's got their name on it. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm still Marc. I just wear the hat and let people see it. But
exactly.
I'm Marc.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and close the show. Again, the website that we mentioned earlier, let me get the thing in front of me so I can read it verbatim because I don't want to be a dick. It is MarcusBuffBagwell.com. He's at Marc Buff Bagwell on Twitter, so I'm gonna plug the hell out of that tonight. And it'll take you all the social medias from the MarcusBuffBagwell.com. And please don't be a stranger on this show, man. We'll do it again for sure, dude. So, do me a favor and hang on the line while I close the show out, and we'll talk just for a second here. So, okay, buddy. Everybody, thank you so much for 4 hours. I love you people. I really do. You guys are the best. They stayed with us. Right, they did. They stayed with us, and they asked questions, and they just kept it up. So thank you guys very much. Don't forget to go by the Teespring store and buy all my shirts because I need money too. And check it out. We're going to be on tomorrow with the Greg Cherry Show first thing in the morning, and Statboy Sports Bar if the damn football game actually gets played this week. God damn it. So that'll be it. So thank you guys again so much. I appreciate it so deeply that you guys stick with me all these years and all these hours today. So thank you guys very much, and we will see you tomorrow. Again, Mark, thank you. Good night, guys, and Godspeed, and get some rest from the East Coast because it's late, y'all. Night, guys.
Peace out.